This meeting is called to order. Will the secretary please take the roll?
Anna Braun,
Here.
Timothy Cummings,
Here.
Antoinette Evola,
Here.
Jamie Falco,
Here.
Louis Figueroa,
Here.
Lori Herrick,
Here.
Lee Woo Hong,
Here.
Wilbur Pan,
Here.
Marion Tangos.
Here. Seeing that we have a quorum, please rise to salute the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The New Jersey Open Public Meetings Law was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice of and to attend the meetings of public bodies at which any business affecting their interests is discussed and acted upon. In accordance with the provisions of this act, the East Brunswick Board of Education has caused notice of this meeting to be published by having the date, time, and place thereof posted at the Board of Education offices located at 760 Route 18, East Brunswick, New Jersey. Written notice was also provided to the Sentinel, the Newark Star Ledger, the Home News Tribune, the Alternative Press of East Brunswick, and the Municipal Clerk of East Brunswick. All Board of Education meetings, with the exception of executive session discussions, are videotaped for later broadcast. It is the policy of the Board of Education that videotaped meetings are not edited for any purpose. Individuals who speak at the board's public meetings should be aware of these videotaping rules. Before we begin, I'm going to ask everyone to please rise. We would like to observe a moment of silence in memory of one of our students who passed away last week. Our deepest condolences go out to their family, friends, and the entire EBHS community during this difficult time. Okay, we actually have a need for a closed session. So, whereas the Board of Education must discuss matters which are not appropriate for discussion in a public meeting, and whereas these subjects are within the exceptions to the Open Public Meetings Act and are permitted to be discussed in closed session pursuant to NJSA 10-4-12B, and whereas the Board of Ed intends to discuss matters listed in the agenda, whereas the length of the closed session is estimated to be 1 hour, after which the public meeting of the board shall reconvene and action will be taken. Now therefore be it resolved that the East Brunswick Board of Education will recess into closed session for only the aforesaid subjects, and be it further resolved that the East Brunswick Board of Education hereby declares that its discussion of the aforesaid subjects will be made public at a time when the public's interest in disclosure is greater than any privacy or governmental interest being protected from disclosure in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act. Okay, and this is a voice vote.
Oh, you need a motion.
Can I have a motion?
Move. Second.
Discussion.
Who was that?
Wilbur was the second.
And the first?
Jamie.
Jamie,
Yeah.
okay, thank you.
Discussion. Motion carries.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
We are in recess.
Good evening, everyone. We are back from closed session, and we are jumping right into our superintendent's report.
Switching it up today. Hi, my friends. It's good to see you here. Are you excited to be out this late?
Yeah.
Party monster out there.
Before I do my superintendent's report, I will I want to recognize the board. That's why I'm standing here. I didn't want to sit over there and, you know. So I'm going to read a resolution of appreciation for because it's School Board Recognition Month in New Jersey. January is so. These are opportunities to thank our board members for working free of charge. Whereas the New Jersey School Boards Association has declared January 2026 to be School Board Recognition Month, a time that all residents might acknowledge the contributions made by our local school board members. And whereas the East Brunswick Board of Education is one of more than 590 local school boards in New Jersey that sets policies and oversees operations for public school districts. And whereas the East Brunswick Board of Education embraces for all students the goals reflected in the district motto of excellence in academics, athletics, and the arts. And whereas the East Brunswick Board of Education helps determine community goals for the education of approximately 8,200 children in preschool through 12th grade. And whereas the East Brunswick Board of Education members receive no compensation for their services, yet are committed and active advocates for public school students, and as board members collectively work with administrators, teachers, and parents for the good of the East Brunswick Public School District and public education in general. And whereas the East Brunswick Board of Education provides accountability to the public, communicates the needs of the school district to the public, and conveys to school administrators the public's expectations for the schools. And whereas the East Brunswick Board of Education can take pride in its schools, which rank among the best in New Jersey, and nationally in indicators such as high school graduation rates, class size, college entrance exam participation, and advanced placement offerings and test scores. Now, therefore, be it resolved that we join communities statewide in observing January 26 as School Board Recognition Month and express our gratitude and appreciation to Marian Tanyas, Wilbur Pan, Anna Braun, Timothy Cummins, Antoinette Ivola, Jamie Falco, Lou Figueroa, Laurie Herrick, and Lee Woo Hung, collectively the East Brunswick Board of Education, for their unwavering service to the students, staff, and greater East Brunswick community. Thank you for all that you do on behalf of our students. So we have certificates of appreciation for each one of you. That's really nice. And I signed them too.
But it's not a check.
I wish. I have no money.
It is our pleasure to serve all of you.
I've been selling cookies. It's not adding up.
To quote a famous philosopher, thanks for noticing me.
I do have a check for $0. Yay. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Dr. Merriman. Thank you.
Personally, for me, I'm enjoying the strong working relationship we have. It's been a good 6 weeks. That's all, people. 6 weeks.
Feels like a lot longer, right?
6 weeks.
I'm happy to be here. I mean, look at my friends. So, good evening. Thank you for being here. It's so nice to see my friends here out in the evening joining us. This is why we do what we do. Let's not forget that, right? So, over the past 2 weeks, I have had the wonderful opportunity to begin my meet and greet tour, we're calling it, across the district. It has been a true pleasure connecting with so many dedicated parents and staff members. Your insights and warm welcomes have made these visits incredibly rewarding. And thank you to all the board members who come over and over again to support me. I really appreciate it. I am eager to continue these conversations at my upcoming meet and greets. If you haven't had the chance to attend one yet, I invite you to join me at one of the future sessions to share your thoughts. Thank you very much for those. On Friday, January 9th, 4 members of the New Jersey Symphony visited East Brunswick High School to perform Something for Everyone for an audience of 250 music students, which I had the pleasure of attending. I get to do all the cool stuff. It was awesome. The presentation offered students a deep dive into diverse musical styles, followed by an interactive Q&A session, with the professionals. Afterward, the musicians led instrument-specific masterclasses, providing students with tailored technical guidance in smaller group settings. This event came to fruition through a partnership between the East Brunswick Public Schools Arts Department, East Brunswick Township, State Assemblyman Stanley's office, the East Brunswick Symphony Orchestra, and the New Jersey Symphony. So it was a lot of collaboration coming together to do this. On Saturday, January 10th, members of the High School Drama Club participated in the Speech and Theater Arts of New Jersey competition. The students competed against 48 schools from around the state. Adriana Perez placed in the musical soloist category. There were at least 200 students entered in this category. Jude Napolitano, Elliot Leibowitz, and Lyric Davila were awarded third place in the scenes category, and Jude was awarded second place in the best actor category. This was a very strong showing for our high school in this statewide competition. Sources of Strength is a preventative, best practice, evidence, and strength-based suicide prevention mentorship program. It relies upon our students and adult mentors to spread messaging of hope, help, and strength in order to strengthen protective factors while promoting well-being, help-seeking, resilience, healthy coping, and a sense of belonging in our school communities. Sources of Strength strengthens multiple protective factors, ensuring individuals have resources to rely on during difficult times. By moving upstream in the prevention cycle, Sources of Strength fosters health and wellness, empowering both students and adults to build communities of belonging and connection. Churchill's Sources of Strength peer mentors and staff advisors ran a launch campaign to encourage students to connect with the sources wheel of strengths. This was an interactive station for students to spin the sources wheel and reflect on one of the 8 strengths for a prize. Students wrote their reflections on a color-coded paint swatch, which will be used to create a colorful sources wheel display in the building. This display will serve as a reminder for students of the strengths and support they possess and the unity of our students and staff in supporting each other. In Mia Rosenthal's and Isabella Riccardi's second grade classrooms at Lawrence Brook Elementary School, history has truly come to life. Our young historians have been traveling back in time to explore the ancient Middle East. By diving into the civilizations of Mesopotamia and Egypt, students are discovering how foundations of our world, such as writing, law, art, and agriculture, first began along the banks of great rivers. So cute. In sports, Olivia Mitchell captured the GMC Wrestling Championship in the 107-pound weight class and was also honored as the tournament's most outstanding wrestler. The athletic department recently hosted its annual Boys and Girls Wrestling Night, welcoming the East Brunswick Recreation Wrestling Club for an evening of community and competition. For the 4th consecutive year, this event has served as a bridge between our current high school athletes and the next generation of the EB Rec wrestlers, offering young athletes and their families a front row seat to the program's future. Congratulations to our December High School Athletes of the Month. Students, thank you. Students were selected for this honor by the coaching staff based on performance, demonstration of leadership, effort in practice, and for modeling exceptional character. The Community Programs Department Schools Out trips continue to be highly successful and well received by students and families. These programs are offered to students in grades K to 6 on days when school is not in session and are designed to provide affordable care, quality enrichment, and fun. Upcoming trips include Humdingers on February 16th, featuring bowling, a laser maze, and additional activities, and I Play America on February 17th. offering unlimited rides and arcade time. Both trips include lunch. All information can be found on our website. Registration is now open for the spring 2026 dual enrollment partnership between East Brunswick High School and Middlesex College. This program offers our students the opportunity to earn college credits while completing high school coursework, expanding both access and pathways to post-secondary success at a discounted price of $135 per course. That's a deal. For the 24-25 school year, our students earned 3,592 college credits through the dual enrollment program. It saves parents a lot of money as a college mom, you know. Students and families can find registration information and video resources on our website, ebnet.org/mcpathways. The registration deadline is Thursday, January 29th, 2026 at 11:59 p.m. And no late registrations can be accepted, so make sure you check that out. Thank you. Now for the stars of the show. Are we ready for the Bond kids?
So we have learning across the district this week. And we are joined with our friends from Bound Monroe Elementary School who are going to highlight how they integrate the Choose Love movement's pillars, courage, gratitude, forgiveness, and compassion, into daily instruction and school-wide culture. They're going to share with us how morning meetings and our cross-grade family circles provide students with meaningful opportunities to practice these essential social emotional skills. By teaching students that they have the power to choose love in every interaction, they are building a safer, more connected, and more compassionate school community.
Stole my intro. I'll make it quick. Good evening, everybody. I'm Kristen Christina, and I'm the proud principal at Bound Monroe Elementary School, and we are so very excited to be here tonight to share some of the most meaningful work that we do in our school each day. At Bound Monroe, we believe in the importance of teaching the whole child, nurturing not only academic growth, but also the social and emotional skills that help students thrive. We believe that it is our responsibility to help children better understand their feelings, build positive relationships, and learn to make good, thoughtful choices. As a result, this learning leads to a happier, healthier, and safer school community. A big part of this work includes encouraging students to set academic and social emotional goals, helping them see the strengths they already have and the magic they have within themselves. The mission of our school is to foster a diverse community of responsible, respectful, and resilient learners. To support this work, we draw on elements of the Choose Love movement. The pillars of the Choose Love movement, courage, gratitude, forgiveness, and compassion in action, are essential life skills that our staff works hard to model and to teach explicitly each day. At Bound Monroe, we use this framework to enrich the social emotional learning initiatives that are already in place in the East Brunswick Public Schools. The Choose Love movement offers simple practices and activities at each grade level that help students recognize their emotions, respond with kindness, strengthen the caring culture that we value so deeply. Our students bring this work to life each and every day, so we'd like for you to see it and hear it through their own eyes.
Hi, my name is Haley. Each family circle is made up of a teacher and kids from every grade. We stay with our same family circle from kindergarten through 4th grade. We love to meet with our family circle. We do lots of fun activities together, like play games and make things to give away. This helps everyone to feel welcome at our school and have friends in every grade. Each time we meet with our family circle, we do an activity that helps us practice one of the big ideas in Choose Love. Lots of times, the big kids help the little ones so they can participate too. We love helping, and the younger kids love it too. The first year we had family circles, I was in kindergarten, and now I'm one of the big kids that helps the kindergartners. Here are a few pictures to help you see how we work together as a family.
Oh. Good job, Haley.
Courage. Oh. Courage is the first pillar of the Choose Love movement. Courage is the willingness and ability to work through obstacles despite feeling embarrassment, fear, reluctance, or uncertainty. I can use courage in school. For example, in orchestra. Sometimes holding the bow and learning a new position, it hurts my fingers. I use courage to push through, and keep going.
Oh.
During our first family circle this year, we talked about respect and having the courage to be ourselves. We celebrate our differences and we learned that we all have many similarities too. We each made a square to represent important things about us and shared them with our family circle. Then the squares were all put together to create the word respect.
In our lessons about courage, we learned that when we need to have more courage and let go of our fear, we could take a brave breath. Let's do a brave breath together. Put one hand on your heart and the other on your belly. Take a big breath through your nose like you are smelling a fresh cookie. Let that air fill your belly. Breathe out through your mouth like you are cooling up a cup of cocoa. Take a few breaths like this and say positive things like, I can do it. Try it with us.
And when we want to support our friends and give them some courage, we can use sign language. Try it with us.
Our second pillar in the Choose Love movement is gratitude. When you practice gratitude, you feel thankful and want to share that feeling with others. We can show gratitude toward ourselves as well as to others throughout our day. A simple way I show gratitude is by saying thank you for when someone does something for me. Saying thank you shows the person you are grateful for them and for what they did to help you. We have shown gratitude as a school to our custodian. In family circles, we created hands for a wreath with all the reasons we are grateful. There are so many reasons we are grateful to our custodian. He is always doing things like cleaning up after our messes and sometimes shoveling and sometimes fixing things in our classroom. This year, we have shown our gratitude for many things and created a school-wide chain. We have showed gratitude towards ourselves, school, family, and the community.
One way we show gratitude in our school is that students write shout-outs to each other to recognize acts of kindness. You might write a shout-out, also called a charm deed, to a classmate who helped you during the day or someone who played with you at recess when you had no one to play with. These shout-outs are shared at our school-wide assemblies to recognize the good deeds done by so many. We have also showed gratitude to others in our schools, like the security guards. We wrote letters to say thank you for all they do. It's important to show gratitude to those in our building.
The third pillar in our Choose Love learning is forgiveness. Forgiveness means choosing to let go of anger and resentment toward yourself or someone else, to surrender thoughts of revenge, and to move forward with your personal power intact. To me, this means being able to apologize to others or yourself when you make a mistake or don't meet a goal. We need to use forgiveness so that we can learn from our mistakes and keep growing. We can say, it's okay, I keep trying, I can do this.
I can't deal. Cuteness overload.
We have goals that we set in school. Sometimes we meet our goal, but other times we don't. If we don't meet our goal, we forgive ourselves because sometimes we need a little more time or another strategy, and that's okay. As long as we keep trying and use our strategies, we are growing.
Here's a way we can show why it's important to use forgiveness. When you hold negative feelings inside, it makes your heart heavy, so it's harder to learn and grow. Some negative thoughts we might have are, I didn't reach my math goals much. I must not be smart enough. I accidentally broke my mom's favorite mug. I'm so clumsy. When we forgive ourselves using self-talk and star breaths, we can make the load we carry lighter so we are ready to keep trying. Let's practice the star breath and replace those negative thoughts using forgiveness. I just need some extra practice. I can do it. Mistakes help me grow. I'll be more careful next time.
Good job.
Our fourth pillar of the Choose Love movement is compassion in action. Compassion is when one understands how another person feels and takes action to alleviate or lessen that person's suffering.
When we show compassion or empathy towards others, we can follow these 3 steps. Number 1, ask yourself, how does this person feel? Number 2, ask yourself, how would I feel if the same thing happened to me? And number 3, take action by doing something kind.
Compassion in action reminds us of the work we have done during the Great Kindness Challenge. Through the work of our student council, we remember and discuss the importance of giving back to our community.
We have done this work through our 2 Lunch Tuesdays where we donate lunches to Elijah's Promise Soup Kitchen. We've supported the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia with our Pajama Day fundraisers.
Our student council has led a fundraiser for the group Live Like a Unicorn. We've donated money for surprise care packages for kids who are fighting cancer to help make their day a little better and let them know that we are thinking of them.
Oh, that's nice.
Next week, we will work in our family circles to create fleece blankets that will be donated to a local NICU hospital. We will show our compassion towards others through action by doing something kind.
At Bauman Row, we say the Choose Love pledge at all of our whole school assemblies. We'd like to share it with you. I pledge to choose love every day. I pledge to always try to practice courage, gratitude, forgiveness, and compassion. I will choose to replace an angry thought with a loving thought. I know that I can't always choose what happens to me, but I can always choose how I respond. Our response is what shapes us and molds us into the person we become. I choose to always respond with love. Thank you and have a good night.
Because they get to listen to the singing. We might want to introduce it that way. So, oh yeah. Go up and take a picture.
Oh, I do? Yeah. Why don't we all go? Let's all go. Let's all go. Oh. Just you. Just you and you know how I feel. I know how you feel. You'll be in the background. Over here. We're behind you. That was so sweet.
Too sweet for you? Too Too much sugar.
I don't want to check my blood sugar. You guys did such an amazing job. It was so good.
So you're not going to do the Pledge of Love?
It's too late.
I don't want to be in the picture. It's like I'm photobombing. Well, I think it's gotten away. So it's your choice whether you want to do the recess now or not.
So I think, would any of our board members like to, I don't know if anyone wants to
Comment.
anything?
So like,
You want to bring them
You
back
lost them.
together?
Yeah.
You want?
Sorry.
Everyone, can we have your attention, please? Thank you.
I know, I'm trying to be. So I will give everyone an opportunity to add anything, but I just want to say that was incredible. This actually is a reminder to all of us of why we do what we do. I actually want to make the Bound Monroe School Pledge the Board of Education Pledge. And, you know, I've heard so many wonderful things about Bound. My children did not attend Bound, but tonight I saw what makes your school so special. And you really are a reminder of why we're all here. So thank you. You have wonderful teachers and staff, and you're such a great community. And we are so proud of everything that you are doing. So thank you. Oh, Dr. Falco, yes, Dr.
I
Falco's
just
a
want to remark,
Brown alum.
as a Bound alum, I am so proud. So proud of you guys. You guys are amazing. Everything you're learning is helping you grow into incredible people and neighbors. And keep up all the good work, everybody.
Dr. Figueroa.
Yes, I'd just like to say real quick, everything you heard about Bound, President Tanius, is correct. It is a remarkable community. Both of my children were fortunate enough to go there. I want to thank their principal, your fantastic teachers for just a fantastic, not only tonight, but always. And you know, with what happens in the world, when you turn on the news at night and you see what's going on, and then you come to something like this and you say, this is what really counts. And this is the generation that will be leading us in the future. Continue your good work. I'm very proud of all of you. Thank you for what you do. And thank you, your teachers and principals.
Yeah. Sorry. Just a quick word of thanks to all the kids for doing such a great job with the presentation. You should be very proud of yourself. And I also just wanted to note the last line in the Bound Monroe School Pledge: "I choose to always respond to love." That really rings true with me, and something I should probably remember more of myself. But thanks for the message and everything. It was great.
Hi, guys. Did you guys have a good time tonight? Yeah. You did a really good job. I was really impressed. And I think before I start my board meetings, I'm going to do a little breathing. So thank you for sharing that with me. I'm sure you guys are excited for the snow. Thank you for coming tonight. You just made me smile so much, and it was really my pleasure to watch it. Thank you to the principal and the teachers for obviously creating such an amazing community in your school. It's really important, and these are the friendships that are going to take them all the way through high school. Thanks for coming.
All right, so we will take a brief recess to let our friends go home for the evening, and I'm sure you're excited to return to Bound in the morning, so thank you so much. All right, welcome back, everyone, from our brief recess. So we're moving right along to our student report. Hi, Jane.
Hello. Bear with me, I lost my voice this week. Good evening, everyone. We have a lot of exciting things happening in our school community to end the start of the new year. First, let's talk about school spirit and celebrations. We want to give a huge congratulations to Cameron Vick, who reached an incredible milestone by scoring his 1,000th career point. That achievement makes him only the 8th player in school history to reach this level, an outstanding accomplishment. Winter athletics have been outstanding, defending the Den with so many wins. Tonight was a highly anticipated St. Joe's game, where the Bears did not come out on top, but it's okay. We have next year. We have. Last Friday, our bubble tea night was hosted by the Asian Club, a fun night with performances, competition, and an important opportunity to hang out with friends and enjoy something sweet at the end of the week. Our choir program has been especially busy and successful. The choir held their karaoke night and on January 15th performed our winter concert. There were so many exciting pieces of music. It was definitely a memorable concert for me. And upcoming performances is the District Chorus Festival and the Family Orchestra performance. For our families, we have several important events coming up. The Sophomore Parent Night took place on the 14th, followed by the Junior Parent Night on the 21st. Music lovers, you won't miss the Battle of the Bands on the 22nd. It's a new and refreshing event and great showcase of student talent, where multiple bands perform and compete for the top spot. To get a jump on to the next school year, scheduling has officially opened. Students can use the virtual electives fair to help fill up their schedule. I personally do not have to deal with getting my last choice elective this year, so. Congratulations to our student council, who recently attended NJASC and earned awards for top 10 projects based on our holiday market and an honor school award. This is a tremendous achievement and reflects the leadership and commitment of our students. IPPL had their first Bronman Bowl, named after the former EBHS teacher, internal competition preparing for the We the People team for states, how they present, and their speech. Midterms begin next week while I'm prepping for exams and a snowstorm. I'm not sure which one will win. Finally, February Chinese Honor Society is hosting their Lunar New Year celebration, February 6th. And our senior class has had some ups and downs. All the college acceptances are coming in. Everyone's committing. Thank you all for your attention, and thank you for continuing to make our school such a vibrant and supportive place. Have a great rest of your night.
Thank you, Jane. So we have the 2025 Annual Comprehensive Financial Report and Auditor's Report presentation from Mr.
So-
Juliana and Mr. Crutchfield.
So, thank you, Dr. Tangos. This is the annual presentation of the results of operations for the last fiscal year that ended June 30th, 2025. So we have Mr. Crotchfeld, who will present the first portion of the report on the financial report, and then he'll be followed by Mr. Scott Cleland. He is the partner in charge of the engagement from PKF O'Connor Davies, our independent auditor. Joe?
All right, thank you. Thank you, board, Dr. Mammon, Bernie, last time you get to do this. But feel free to come back in the future to be entertained. So I will go through the audit report, the audited financial information. And we'll start, maybe. This happened last year. I would like to say also, every time, like the presentations by our students get better and better. Like, I'm like, okay, Bauman Road, they'll be cute. But like, I'm sitting here like, oh my God, I wish, like, I learned something tonight from an unexpected area. And I am going to, like you, Dr. Pan, try to apply it more often. So, the general fund. I know, transition, right? Like,
But Joe, you say that with love.
I do, like, which kind of, I do, like, you know, the general fund is my favorite fund. So the general fund captures the day-to-day operations. That's where most of our instructional salary goes, special ed, transportation, maintenance, IT. Karen, how do you want me to do this? Like, okay, all right. So the general fund has revenue. The vast majority of that revenue comes in via the tax levy. This past year, it was $145 million, which was up from the previous year. Tuition, we do have a small number of kids that we take in from other districts, state placement, some general kindergarten, preschool kids that come in. That accounted for $600,000, or I'm sorry, $836,000. Other, that is your interest on investments, refund the prior year, which is typically like our E-rate. We pay certain fees, and then through various programs, we get money back. So that goes there. That was 2.2 million. State sources, that's our state aid, not including any TPAF pension contributions made by the state or FICA contributions made by the state. That totaled 42 million. That was down from the previous year by over $800,000 overall. Federal sources, $63,000. That is our SEMI program. That's the Special Ed Medicaid Initiative. Based off of different services, we are required, it's not optional, we're required to submit, and then the federal government refunds. I will make a note that we only retain about $3 out of $10, so we do all the work, we pay, the state retains most of that money. So we're not bitter about it, but it's an issue. And then transfers in. That's very important. We've talked about it a number of times. That's the money that's coming in from our community programs, enterprise, and also our facilities rental. And we'll talk about that later when we get there. So overall, the revenue from the general fund was 191 million. Next slide. Expenditures. We had 197 million. So the first question you might ask is, well, how did we spend $6 million more than what we brought in? Without getting into the accounting, we have a budget. If there's budget items from the previous year, open purchase orders that carry over, that carries over to the next year. It doesn't impact that budget. Various reserves, if we had capital projects that were funded by the capital reserve account, which I'll get into the next slide. So the accounting of it that we're required to adhere to doesn't always line up if you just look at the numbers. But we do it right. I don't want anybody to think, and Scott will confirm that. So if we go over the major expenditures, up at the top, employee benefits, that's health benefits, our PERS, uniforms, tuition reimbursements, that all goes there. That's 35.8 million, which was up over $4.7 million from the previous year. This is an area that we are watching closely. We are concerned about it. If you've read various articles from the state, their state health benefit program, which we are not a part of, went up 31% this past January 1st. So we're seeing that across the board with other districts. We're all experiencing an increase, a significant increase in those expenditures. Capital outlay, those are projects that have a longer life. They're not funded by bonds, they're funded by capital reserve, as I spoke about. That's in the general fund, that was $800,000. Charter school, we've talked about this over the years, 5.8, almost $5.9 million. It's important to note, Tikva is our largest charter school, but I believe we're up to 5 charter schools now. The other ones have 1 or 2 kids going to various places. The state determines how much we pay. We don't have a choice. It's based off of enrollment. I think the thing to remember as we get into the budget season, when we get our state aid, if we receive a reduction in state aid, the district hits that reduction. Charter schools are kind of insulated. Not necessarily fair in my opinion, but we deal with it. The next one, 12.1 million. It's a big category. It's all the administration, district and school-wide, human resources, finance, IT, legal, auditor, insurance, communication, graduation services. Short-term debt, those are our shared service and ESIP payments. That's $12.8 million. Student transportation, 14.2 million. Plant operation and maintenance, that's 20.1. The thing to note there, it's not just, HVAC, custodial grounds, it's also security in certain school aids, lunch aids get into that category as well. And then the biggest chunk, 95, almost 96 million, is for instruction. So that's general instruction, special ed, your out-of-district placements, and all the related services. All right. Next slide. This slide is the last one for the general fund. The fund balance. We're required to have certain fund balances. Unemployment, which is now accounted for in the general fund, is there, so we'll start with that. If you work for Johnson & Johnson, they will participate in the state unemployment fund. We are, school districts are allowed to be almost like self-insured for unemployment. So we have to keep a reserve to ensure that we can cover our unemployment. If people are terminated, they leave, we get bills from the state and we have to pay that internally. We don't pay as we go. So that's 1.1 million. That's been the same for a while. We have a good balance. We're in a good spot there. Legally restricted, the state requires us to have a 2% minimum. So that's the 3.9 that you're seeing. Legally reserved for capital improvements, that's the capital reserve. We're down to $600,000 in that reserve. That is significantly less than prior years. As we've done a tremendous amount of work in being able to fund it through that reserve, but it is low. Reserve for encumbrances, I talked about that. That's those open purchase orders that have not been filled at the end of the year. That's a reserve. That money carries over to the next budget cycle, so that's 1.2 million. That's roughly about what it is every year. Reserve for the 25-26, the current year, tax relief, 4.6 million. What will be applied, what we have for the 26-27 is only $110,000. As we get into budget development, this will be something that will impact us, not in a good way, and we'll talk more. But it will be an item that we'll have to go over and review. All right, so our total fund balance is 11 million, 11.7. Just for reference, we're fine with our fund balance, but it is lower than the past year. All right, last year was 18.1. We're down to 11.3. So, next slide. All right, special revenue. So special revenue is where we account for our grants, IDA, the title grants, some special revenue. The projects related to the shared service agreements are accounted there. Our EBF money that they do a great job of giving us, the PTA donations, the non-publics. For those that don't know, the state will flow the money for all the non-public schools through the local district, and then we are responsible to ensure that they spend it correctly. Our adult school grant, which is very successful, is also accounted for here. Next slide. So just some major grant awards. Comparison, the really ugly green is 2024, and then pretty much the ugly orange is 2025. So
Not East Brunswick colors.
no, not everything translates to that screen the way it shows, but hey, we'll deal with it. So EBEF, you see this past year gifted with 75,000, almost 76,000. I shouldn't say gifted. I don't want to get into the weeds on this. The accounting for the special revenue fund, we recognize revenue based off of what we spend. All right, so they could have gifted us 100,000, and if we only spent 75, then the revenue 75, the rest is put in a reserve. I'm going to end there because I will put everybody, including Scott, to sleep if I go on. So that was an increase over the prior year. The PTAs and other, 53,000. IDEA, 2.2 million. That is down from the 2.3 from the prior year. We're always around that 2.1 to 2.3. All right, and we don't know that until the federal government gives it to us. Right. The title grants, 1.3 million compared to 600. So again, that's based off of expenditures. The thing to note here, 2 years ago, we had a really big dip in Title I. So myself, Joyce, Tara, we got on the phone with the federal government, like, what happened? Our numbers are not going down. They said, no, everything's right. And then the next year, magically, they adjusted it. So it was worth the phone call. We didn't get answers, but we got the money. So as a result, we didn't get that money until late in the programming of how we're going to use it. So we have some carryover in, you're seeing that in 2025 and going forward. In fact, there's a resolution, an agenda item for the carryover money. It all relates. With the title and IDA money, you have a year to spend it. Whatever you don't spend, you can carry over. And the state has to approve it. We're using those funds appropriately. And then, like I said, the adult basic education grant, 396,000 last year. I will note we're up. We got a significant increase this year because we have a really good program. And one of the schools in our group dropped out, so they gave us more. So we're doing our best to reach out to as many students in the adult program, the civics, the GED, as we can. Next slide. And then the expenditures. Again, EBF, we spent 74,000 and change. PTA, 51,000. The federal, you'll see it was 6.6, and we dropped drastically. That was the end of, in 2024, of all the COVID money. Like the various programs, we were finishing up spending that money on various HVAC improvements and things like that. The state, again, that's going to be your non-public items, is 435,000, and then other is 890,000. That other is going to be expenditures for shared services and items like that. Next slide. Okay, capital projects. This is my favorite slide because there's nothing in capital projects because we had no bonded debt, so you can go on. I'm sure everybody else is happy about that too. Debt service fund, it's our mortgage. That's how we refer to it. When we go out the bond, we pay it down over typically 30 years. We have a couple bonds still outstanding. Memorial, I think Lawrenceburg, Hammersholt, and we've refinanced those to bring down our interest rates over the years. Next slide. And you can just, yeah. There you go. Perfect. Thank you, Karen. So as of June 30th, 2025, we had bond payable of almost $49 million, comprised of three specific items. The refunding from 2012, we have 34.2 million left. The refunding that we did in 2010, we have 8.3. And then the unique thing is the ESIP, which we account for in the general fund, but we have to report it in the debt service. Makes total sense, right? We have $6 million there. The ESIP program was a state program that allowed us to bond as long as we could have energy savings to offset. And we had major renovations with solar, redoing lights to more energy efficient items. So we're down to $6 million on that. Next slide. One more. There you go. Debt service fund, again, the debt limit. The law says we can only bond out 4% of the average equalized value. All right, so the current bond debt limit is $388 million. We have that 48 million, almost 49 million outstanding. So that means if we were to go out to bid or bond tomorrow, we could go up to $339 million. This will become important as we go down the line, and if we have to do major capital improvements. There's other programs to supplement this amount, so there's options. It's not just that's it, we're stuck at 339 million. Not that it's just 339 million, that's a lot of money, but there are other options, okay? Next slide. Enterprise. Our enterprise funds, these are funds that act like a business. We're a school district, we don't make profits unless it's an enterprise fund, okay? We want to run it like a business and balance what we're providing to the community. So next slide. Food service. So food service enterprise is comprised of two different revenue components. Operating revenues, that's your paid meals, breakfast, lunch, and a la carte. 2.7 million. Non-operating, that's all the money we receive for free lunches, reduced lunches from the federal and state. That was 2 million. Total operating expenses, 4.1 million. And then a change in that position of 611. So that was a good thing. We brought in that revenue. It is down from the prior year for two reasons. Coming out of COVID, there were supply chain issues. We received additional funding in the form of a grant. That money is now gone. And there was a significant accounting change with regards to compensated absences. That's your vacation, accrued vacation, and sick time. GASB 101,
Joe, what is GASB?
the generally.
Government
thank you.
accounting.
Governmental, I was saying, thank you. I know you know the answer. Why are you, you
Well,
could have
because
just.
we're talking accountant talk here, but
I
the
know.
rest of the community and board doesn't know that.
It's a government organization that regulates our principles we have to follow.
Thank you. My point was you could have just said that. My mind wasn't there. So as a result, they changed how we have to account for that. It's a paper entry that had a really negative impact on our enterprise funds. In this fund, it was almost $70,000. So that's more than 10% of what our profit would have been. So it's not that that money left. It's almost like we're accounting for an expenditure that might happen in the future, but in the current year. It doesn't make sense. None of us are happy about it in the accounting world, but it's one of those rules we follow.
Ridiculous standard.
Yeah. So, how do you equate those numbers to meals? All right, and I think that's how many meals are we serving? So for a la carte equivalent, this past year we served over 300,000 meals. For lunch, 651,000. Breakfast, 119,000. That's 1,072,000 meals, which is astounding, all right? I thought last year we got just over the million, and it's like every year we're trying to be better to do more. I think we have a really great program. The partnership with Aramark, our advocate, our consultant, I think works out really well. It's a testament to the child nutrition department and the commitment that they all have, all the workers have, to providing meals to our students. Next slide. Community programs.
Joe, can we just pause for one moment? Because I think it's important to also note when you talk about the child nutrition program and what the results of operations were and that there was a profit, that those funds can't be used to offset anything in the general fund. That money must be retained to support child nutrition operations. It can't be used for anything else.
Correct. 32 years, and you got it right. No, just kidding, Bernie.
Thanks, Joe.
Community programs.
See, this is what happens. It's like,
We never get to see this.
I want to make sure you guys understand I do have a personality. It's not all the heart attack behind closed doors. So community programs, again, a really successful enterprise program that we have in the district. It's the early morning, after school, early learning academy. The other, Dr. Mammon spoke about the schools out programming. That all goes through community programs. So we brought in 3.6 million, almost $3.7 million in that enterprise. Early morning program, 547,000. The after school program, 1.2 million. Early learning academy, which is our preschool program, 1.5 million. And then other, that's the enrichment programs, the one-offs that don't fall into the other three categories, 314,000. We had total expenses of 3,011,000, and then our income before the transfer to the general fund was 684,000, and we transferred over to the general fund $833,000. How can we transfer more than we took in? We have retained earnings over the years. Go to the next slide, and I think that will help. So this shows what community programs has contributed to the general fund. Pre-COVID, our numbers were really good. You know, we transferred $800,000. That's great. COVID hit. Nobody was in school, so we didn't bring in any money. So we held on to that money in retained earnings. We still had to pay staff during that time, so we didn't make any contributions. 2023, kind of back to normal. Program ramped back up, transferred almost 400,000. 2024 was 1.2, and now 800,000. I will say overall our numbers are not where they were pre-COVID. They're still healthy. I think that's a combination of, not everybody's gone back to the office. There's still people working from home. So the impact of the GASB 101 also impacted how much profit we took in there. So it's still a very healthy program. A lot of kids attend, and we're looking always to expand what we offer. Next. One more. There you go. Facilities rental. This is mainly J-Impact. All right. So we rent out J-Impact. There are not many days available between school events and outside use. Total revenue, 1.1 million that we brought in from rental. Total expenses, 612,000. Income before the transfer, 543. We transferred over 555. We have a good retained earnings. We try to set a mark, and that's, we had a little bit left over in retained earnings. We move that over. Next slide. This is similar what the facilities rental has contributed over the years. Again, during COVID, we totally shut it down. We were not renting it out. Came back, we started back up in 2023 from nothing because everybody had left, all our staff, they moved on. At that time, Chetna took over as the facility use coordinator. She's done an outstanding job, and we've built that back up. We're contributed 555,000 to the general fund, like I stated, and our revenue has increased year over year. So, we don't advertise for the J-Impact. It's all word of mouth. The dance competitions just come back every year. There are competing facilities, but time and time again, it's about the customer service that we provide, and that in the facility is beautiful. So that keeps them coming back. Next slide. Technology coverage. I'm almost done. Hang in. This is relatively new. Last couple years, this is where we parents, students can buy insurance on their devices, and then if they have damage and there's a charge, it runs through this enterprise. So we brought in revenue last year of $163,000, total expenses of $124,000, income of $38,000, and we transferred that over to the general fund. So, you know, we're in this fund, we're not trying to overcharge. You know, we're trying to be reasonable, the insurance, to make sure, you know, parents have an option. You know, you pay the insurance coverage, the computer breaks, as long as it wasn't with intent, you're covered. You know, it's just like car insurance, but a lot more reasonable. So that's how that fund works. Next. Financial facts. Financial services, every year, one back, Karen, please. Or multiple. There you go. You're right, I'm wrong again today. I skipped the slide. Okay, so we manage over 25 bank accounts in the district, maintain compliance with all quarterly filings. We issue over 4,000 tax forms, all in-house. We don't use any added district contracted services for our payroll or tax filings. 650 journal entries. Note that they're not because of mistakes, right? We don't make that many mistakes. You know, there's no accountants in the room. And even Scott didn't laugh. Right. Process 7,300 club and activity registrations, 1,500 athletic and band registrations, over 1,000 before and after school registrations, over 800 enrichment registrations. Next slide. Well over 6,900 purchase orders, 18,500 invoices a year, 5,500 checks, 37,000 paychecks. That includes direct deposits, 12,000 timesheets processed, 10,000 attendance slips. Even though they're electronic now, they still count. Bids and renewals, requests for proposals, and requests for formal quotes. And then all the student service providers approvals. Next slide. So I'm proud to announce that for 2024, we did submit for 2025. It will take a little bit of time, but for the 12th consecutive year, we've received the Certificate of Excellence in Financial Reporting from the Association of School Business Officials International. And then for the 10th out of 11 year, for the Certificate of Achievement from the Governmental Finance Officers Association. The only year we missed was because of COVID. All right? It wasn't our fault, it was theirs. So that is the last slide. Before I turn it over to Bernie, just a couple words. There are members from my staff. I'm not going to make you stand up because you won't like that. Bernie will probably.
They should stand up. Yeah, they should stand up. Stand up. Yeah.
So, extremely proud to be part of the team, because it is a team. But it's more than the team. It's not just finance, it's the whole district. There's secretaries that do student activity funds and part of the principals. There's IT, as I talked about. I wouldn't forget you, Cliff. So special ed is a huge piece. It takes everything to do it right. It only takes a little bit to do it wrong. We do it right. So, like, I'm emotional about it because I am so proud of that. And I would be remiss if I didn't take this minute to just say thank you. That,
And before Scott comes on, because I was going to wait till later, but I'm going to say this now. This has been more than a team. This has been a family. working together. We've had, I mean, Joe's been with me for 23 years, 23 and a half years.
Depends on who you are.
Don't shortchange me.
Yep. 23 and a half years. Tara's been with us for 20 years now. Kathy Rowe, longer than Joe, 26, I think, right? Lori, 17, 18, 19. I mean, we have longevity. There's a lot of history. If we didn't work well together, people wouldn't be here. But this is, and over this time, this team has become a family. I cannot say enough about each and every one of them, and I know there are people that I haven't even mentioned. I cannot say enough about each and every one of them. I am just so proud. I have been blessed, absolutely blessed, to have these colleagues to work with. I appreciate you all more than I can ever say. More than I can ever say. And I will miss you. And now there's Scott.
Well, and I got so caught up, I didn't ask if there was any questions. So,
So Joe, thank you very much for the presentation. And I do have a few questions for you. So for the general fund balance, under it is $11,737,000. So there's legally reserved for capital improvement is $602,000 something. And you mentioned that this is significantly less than last year. Thinking about our facility and the capital improvement is in demand.
Mm-hmm.
So how can you manage it? We only have $600,000 left. So what's the legal amount we should put the reserve? You label it as legally reserved for capital improvement. What's the legal amount or the legal limit we should do?
so there is no minimum legally set amount. The maximum that we could put is the total of the long-range facility plan, which totals like $1 billion. So it would be great if we had that, but we don't. So how do we manage our capital improvements? Through shared service agreements. We've been very successful with that. There are certain things that, in a shared service agreement, for those that are not familiar, we do an agreement with the township. They go out for financing. We pay for it. But they're allowed under the law to do short-term financing, bond anticipation notes, things that, they can renew on an annual basis that we are not permitted to do. So we take that funding and earmark certain projects and do that. Yes, we're low, but that also says that we've spent that money. If we had $10 million in that account, I think the question would be, okay, what's the plan? Like, it's just sitting there. There's things that we need to do, right? So yes, it's lower. Things have been difficult the last 2 years. $16 million in reductions over the last 2 years kind of impacts the ability to put money in that reserve. So hopefully as things get better, be positive, and we're going to get better, we can fund it a little bit better.
Okay, my next question is about debt service fund. So you said the limit is 4% of average equalized value, AEV. How this AEV defined? Who set the standard for this, the number for AEV?
So it's the average of the last 3 years of your equalized value that's determined by the
Department of Treasury.
Department of Treasury. They determine the value of all the properties in East Brunswick. They say, okay, that it was 400 million, 500 million, so the average is 500 million. You take 4%. I made up those numbers. Don't try to do the math. It won't work.
Yeah, understood.
So then it's, okay, based off of that average, it's almost, the state put in a mechanism to protect districts and municipalities, all governmental entities, so they don't overbond, so they default. They're saying, based off of this calculation, that's a reasonable amount, or that's the maximum amount, so you're not putting yourself in a bad financial situation.
Okay, thank you. My last question end up with the finance facts. So you listed the great job you guys did, issue thousands of tax form, register thousands, but close to 7,300 club registration. It's 1,000 plus before after school, and 6,900 purchase orders are all big numbers. So are you using any technology to improve your efficiency, to reduce your staff's workload?
So we use technology when it's available. A lot of our purchasing is done through the Ed Data Consortium that a lot of school districts use. We take advantage of teachers going on their website, ordering it, the principals approve it, then it gets imported, so we're not data entering all those. And those are big orders in the beginning of the year. And then we have the manual ones. We are not to the point of, because it's all about compliance. The state law says in order to pay a bill, you need a signed voucher from a vendor. You need an invoice, you need receiving, and PS, it needs to have separation of duties, right? You don't want the same person doing all of it, because that's where you get into fraud and in some difficult spots. That is all a human element. So yes, we try to take advantage. I think we're one of the few districts that will pay all of our accounts payable, all the reimbursements to employees, we do ACH. We offer vendors to do V-card. That V-card program pays us. So we've eliminated paper checks, postage, plus we get paid. So there's not many, and it takes a little bit of work. You need the auditor to sign off. You need to make sure that it's a change, but you have that separation of duties, so no one person is setting up a dummy account and getting paid. Read the newspaper on a couple districts that are having some issues. So not saying they use that program, but they have poor financial controls. So it's always balancing that technology and how do we ensure every penny is accounted for, efficiently used. One of the things that annoys me about the audit, everything's rounded. And I'm like a pennies guy. Like, it's got to tie out. In fact, I just had a conversation with a parent, and they're like, "Oh, it's only a couple dollars." I'm like, "No, a penny is not okay." All right. So we take that very serious in the finance department because we know the expectation. We're entrusted with a lot of money from the taxpayers, and that means something to us. I feel comfortable saying to everybody that works in that department.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
If I can just jump in for a moment too, because you were talking about, Mr. Hung, you asked about, technology. One aspect that you didn't touch on, and that is all the registrations. They're not paper registrations that we're receiving. It's all done online. So that entire process is electronic. That was instituted a number of years ago. So the only aspects that are paper processes are those that are mandated to be. Otherwise, we've turned everything over into electronic processes.
Thank you.
Joe, thank you very much for your presentation this evening. Very well done. Just had a quick question on the Special Revenue Fund Major Grant Awards page. You mentioned under ESSER, we had received in 2024 just over $619,000, and this 2025 we had 1.3 and change. And you mentioned that there was some federal government making things right.
Yes.
So if you could just talk a little bit about that, because I guess what we should be hearing there is we won't be getting 1.3 this coming year.
Right, yeah, and in fact, for 2026, we saw it go back to more normal levels, which approximately 900,000, okay. So, the way the funding works is not just based off of our low-income students, based off of lunch applications. It's based off of demographics that they have, the census, thank you, but also the lines of the town as drawn by the federal government, right? And it's multiple factors, right? It's not just one thing. They're looking at multiple, and we might say, oh, our population, we know our low-income population has skyrocketed. But then how does that compare to every other school district in the United States, not just here? So if we went up 10%, but, you know, every district in Texas went up 30%, okay, our 10% doesn't compare to their 30. So there's so many variables. So we just can't point to, well, this is what we see in our demographics. And then it takes into account the demographics of households that don't even have children attending. So it was interesting when we did call. But it was also one of those things that reinforces when something doesn't seem right, like call, like just don't accept it. And, you know, that's another thing that we have never been bashful of being like, no, that's wrong. We want more, or, you know, that's not right. You know, we're not always successful, but we try. I hope that answer your question.
Thank you, Joe, and thank you to your finance team. Great job. Well
Thank
done.
you.
Thank you.
Hi, Joe. Very good presentation. I would love for you to do that at my house when I go shopping, so you make it look fun when you're spending a lot of money. Yeah, I got it. So I just want to know, am I able to ask you a question from here? Because these are the slideshows, but this one went more in depth.
So what you all received, the small report is the summary. It tells you if we had any findings and recommendations, and Scott will deal with that. And then these are the detailed financials. Without getting too much in the weeds, there's an A schedule, which is converted. Doesn't mean anything to us. Schedule. It's so anybody picking up our audit report can compare it to another school district in another state, right? Doesn't always make sense, right? Then you have the B schedules that are more what we're accustomed to using, have a similar feel to what you receive on a monthly basis, combined with the C schedules, which will show your budget and what we spent and what's left. So just to give you an overview. And then you have another 150 pages of amazing information.
But yes, you're more than welcome to ask.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Scott's like, I want to go home.
Right. So I was looking at the numbers, and I noticed in 2016, we had 109 million. I'll just average. I know you're like a penny guy, but we'll just do averages for now.
The J schedules?
Yeah, where are you looking so I can?
Okay, statistical section?
Oh, yeah.
Page 115. Right, is that 116 or 115? I can't see anything. 116.
Okay.
Are you with me?
Yes.
Okay. So based on the number from 2016 to 2025, it looks like there's been like a 31% increase over the 9 years, right?
Okay.
But when you look at inflation, inflation's at 34%. So now you have a 3% deficit. So my question to you is, would you be able to help me understand what factors are contributing to that gap? And also, what are we planning to do to tackle that this year?
So I think the second part of your question is more budget.
Okay.
Right? And those are going to be, I know we're going to have some small group meetings. We're going to getting into budget season. So at this time, I don't think it's appropriate to address that, because that's not just a me decision or any person, it's a collective that, you know, the board is gonna have to make some decisions on based off of recommendations, all right? So,
But again, what you're looking at the J1 and the J2, that's based off on the A1 and the A2, which
Right.
is a required schedule, but it's not what you make your decisions off of.
Okay,
So if you're gonna look at anything, I would look at the J3 and the J4.
okay. The other thing I wanted to ask you is, Bernie, you explained to us that you can't really use any, well, you can't, not really, you just can't use any of the food service fund for anything else. But can you explain to everybody in the audience and to us also, what can you use the money for, so that we understand what it's there to be used towards?
To support the child nutrition program. So, a couple of examples. One of the things that we're doing is that the custodial services associated with lunches can be charged to the child nutrition program rather than the general fund. So that's a piece that we've shifted over. We have some renovations that are scheduled for Frost and Warnsdorfer, the multipurpose rooms and the kitchens. The kitchen equipment can be paid for through the child nutrition program.
Okay,
So, and we've done that. We've done equipment replacements in kitchens that have come out of the child nutrition program.
okay.
So as long as it's focused on that program, it's okay. But we can't utilize that money outside of that program.
Well, no, that's good to know, because at least we know that there's a good amount of money there for all the schools. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're
And then my
welcome.
final question, and this is probably because I'm a mom who pays these fees. For the, hold on. For the technology coverage, the surplus money that you guys have at the end, what do you use that money towards? Is that only able to be used for the IT team, or can you just put in the general fund to be used anywhere else?
so it's treated like community programs. If there's a balance left over, we can transfer that to the general fund to offset the operations. We always leave a balance, because this board was very supportive of the vision of keeping money in community programs, right? And then we had COVID. We had a $1.5 million retained earnings. If we didn't have that, community programs would have shut down during that period, and we would have never came back. Because if we weren't paying those staff to be like, okay, commit, stay here,
Right.
and then we opened up, no, we would have had nobody. So, you know, we're always balancing that. So it's not every single penny just gets transferred over. And that's something, you know, it has to be planned out over years. You have to think it might be easy, and, you know, not to get into the budget discussion, but it might be, oh, there's a little bit of money right there. Let's grab it to fix the short term and not realize what the long-term impact.
Right.
So
Because
Yep.
if we didn't have community programs, we're still the best game in town as far as money for the buck. How many community members would not have daycare? So it is, you know, it's not all about the money,
Right.
right? It's not all about the profit, but it's about the impact that we have. When we first started community programs, we put a lot of people out of business. I know the town might not be happy about that. We took over the early morning program. That's how we started, because they were not in compliance. We could be, right? So it's the same premise with every enterprise fund. You just can't grab the quick. You got to think.
Okay.
And we have to be mindful of that, right?
Congratulations to you and your team on another award. I, again, have seen those articles about other districts, and I was very happy that we were not one of those articles I had to read about.
Nobody
So
goes to
thank you.
jail. It's a success, right?
Wait, don't go anywhere. I still have a, do you have a question too?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. No. I'll go last.
All right. Yeah. Thanks, Joe, and to your team for doing such a great job. I know that I've never won an award for every year for over a decade. So, and I probably never will. So that's really an amazing accomplishment. Two quick questions. Piggybacking off of Antoinette's, question because she almost stole mine. Why can't the food service proceeds be used in the general fund? Because it seems like, intuitively, it seems like it's weird that that particular thing is
So
walled
on
off.
your slide, you
Yeah.
have the operating revenue and then
Mhm.
the non-operating.
Mhm.
And without looking at it, it was like $2 million of non-operating. That's from subsidies from the federal and state grant programs. So they put in place, like, that money we're giving to you, if you have surplus, okay, don't give it back, reinvest it.
Mhm.
So that's why there's a restriction, why we just can't take that money and give it to the general fund or use it for another purpose. And piggybacking on what Bernie said, not only is it restricted on, you have to keep it in child nutrition, but then there's only certain things. If we want to move a wall in a kitchen, we can't fund it there. That's part of the building. So, and Scott's team audits that, and the state comes in about every 3 years and they do a compliance, not just on what we're serving, but a fiscal compliance audit. And, we've been very successful with that as well.
Okay, thanks. My other question is regarding the legally required unreserved portion of the fund balance, which is at 2%. Is that exactly 2%?
So-
can we go above or below that?
It will never reflect in the calculation above that 2%. I would love to say, yeah, it's just 2%, but it's 2% and then certain things are in it, certain things aren't. It's not, oh, you budgeted 100 million, you took in 120 million, so you have 20 million that goes to, it's a calculation that is a pain, and every time we go and do it internally, we have to take off our one hat of thinking and think how the state thinks, which is sometimes difficult for us, but we manage. So it's not a straightforward calculation. In the documents in the software that we have to submit our financials, the audit report in, it calculates it automatically. So it doesn't allow you to do more than 2%.
So,
Right.
so if I can just jump in, so, Dr. Pan,
Wilbur.
Wilbur.
You got yelled at last time, remember?
So, to get to the root of what your question is, we cannot maintain more than 2%. What the program that Joe was referring to, what it will do, and what will be reflected in the audit report, that's that $110,000, I think that you mentioned.
That's the excess.
Is the excess. So the excess gets reported, and then we have to use that excess. But we are not to use that 2%. That's kind of the emergency fund. If you need to, break that glass on the wall to, get the fire hose out, that's when you use the 2%. And you can only use it with permission from the
Yeah,
DOE.
if you start dipping below 2%, you have to go to the county for approval to go below 2%. And to put in perspective, that number that the state had probably 20 years ago was 6%. Then they reduced it to 3%, and it's been 2% for quite a while now. They bumped it up to 4% during COVID, but it's back down to 2% now. And the state really will frown upon a district using anything that takes you below that number.
And if I could just add one more thing, the fact that it's 2% affects what our bond rating is. Because every year when I have the conversations with Moody's and they're asking me questions about the financials, that 2% is an issue that comes up. And if that percentage was able to be a higher percentage, it would reflect itself positively on our Moody's rating. Not that we have a bad rating, we have a great rating, but given the circumstances.
So we have a great rating despite the fact that we're stuck at 2%. Here.
Yes.
Okay, great. Thanks. Great job.
Tim?
Thank you. Joe, thank you, and thank you to the team. I always enjoy your presentations. You offered a little bit of humor today and some emotion too. That was pretty cool. So I didn't think you had it. No, thank you. So Joe, I know you were also touched by having the Bound students here today, and I have a question for you. I wanted to kind of, if you don't mind, if those students were still sitting in this room and you had to deliver your presentation again in a way that resonated with them, that they were able to absorb, what would you say? What are 3 to 5 maybe points that you would say, if you can help me out here, so that they understood sort of what this report entailed?
Of course, I wouldn't just read the numbers. Right? So I would try to instill in them that what we do has an impact on their daily instruction because of, the resources we provide, right? Not we, like the board, the direction you guys have, the vision that's by the superintendent, by the business office. I know, don't just listen to all the chaos during tough budget times. Hard decisions are made, but it always goes back to the kids. And there is a true commitment. I truly believe this by everybody. We don't always agree, but it comes back to that. And whether I deliver that in 3 points, 5 points, or 1 point, I think that's the only point that matters.
Let's go, Joe.
Wow.
Drop the mic, man. Drop the mic.
So Tim,
We're done.
you're not getting any other points.
I guess I'm done. Thank you.
Do you want to say something?
Yeah, you try.
Sorry, Tim.
Oh, it's okay. I thank you. Yeah, that was very solid. But Joe, from if you were to say just real quickly, if you don't mind, from like a I'm not gonna let it go. I'm pushing
Can I
back.
pull up my AI assistant to help me
Exactly.
answer
No,
some
from
of
a
these?
financial perspective, Joe, if you had to say, that from where we stand at this point in time, right, and you wanted to say that things are looking good, or things are looking grim, how would you define that?
I would say in my 23 and a half years of doing this, we're not in the best of financial situations based off of those 23 and a half years. I wouldn't expect us to be after $16 million in cuts the last 2 years. I think based off of the limitations of the funding formula, how much we can raise taxes, the impact of inflation, increase in health benefits, we are in good position, not great. Bernie will sleep well after, I have already started not sleeping, okay? So, there are things that, of course, we have, our general fund is $200 million. Our overall operations, over 250 million, so there's a lot of things that worry me. Sometimes it's not the big numbers, sometimes it's the small numbers, like student activity funds, they're handled by the schools. We're entrusting our teachers to collect money, follow procedure. They're teachers, they don't always understand it. They do a great job. The principals do a great job, but that's always the worry, because if you do a Google search of where issues come up, yeah, I know there's some big numbers out there for currently, but like people go to jail for stealing a couple $100 and throw their career. That's what worries me from a financial standpoint. But globally, we're okay, not panic. And I hope I can say that in a couple months after, state aid comes out and we figure things out. But we'll figure it out, so we're okay.
No roundabout way, Joe.
Lori.
I just wanted to commend you and Bernie and your team. You all did a fantastic job, and to continue to receive the recognition that you do through these awards of excellence is just telling to how hard you all work and how important our being fiscally responsible and our reporting. And I know we'll hear more when we have our audit report, but I think I don't even know if thank you could be enough when you handle the fiscal responsibility of our school and our students. And I feel, to follow up with Tim's question, I feel like the first part of your answer before the follow-up, he delivered with love, and I felt that. Yeah, I felt that because I've in the past like hour and a half, I think we've seen Joe's emotions go from here to here to here, and so I love that you know, I love that you feel that love, and I maybe recommend some square and seashell breathing that they were talking about. And I think I'm optimistic that it'll all come together.
Anybody else? Okay, I do have one question. Sorry, guys. Because you mentioned that we don't advertise the JM Pack. Are we permitted to? And do you think that there would be an added benefit to doing that?
Right now, I don't think there is because we're like capacity.
We don't need to.
The only weekends that we don't rent out is when we have a holiday associated with it. Because we found, you know, staff need a break. Like when our staff, whether it's custodial or event staff, are working those weekends, it could be, you know, an 8-hour shift Friday night to a 10-hour shift after a regular work day, a 14-hour day on Saturday, a 14-hour day on Sunday, and then a lot of people go back to their full-time job on Monday. So, you know, Father's Day, Mother's Day, Easter, whatever, Memorial Day, you know, maybe the staff deserve a little break. So those are the only weekends that we don't rent out. And then you combine all the school events that happen. So it's a lot that runs through there. And I still think 15 years old now, Hammersholt, give or take, and it's still a great facility. So that's a testament to everybody in the district.
Thank you. I think that's all, but great job. Great job, Bernie and team, really. Joe, you really surprised me with that mic drop. Like the emotion I knew you had in you, but that mic drop at the end, I was like, wow, such a profound speaker. Okay.
Bernie, I bet you're glad you don't have to listen to this any more years.
What's that?
I bet you're happy you don't have to listen to this any more years. Do I get to go? Yeah. I'm just kidding. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for the opportunity to be here to piggyback off of what Joe went over for the financial overview. I do want to say that I do 15 school districts that I'm the partner on myself, and my firm does 50 or so. And this is the only district where the assistant BA can get up in front of the audience and get up in front of a board and give that kind of a presentation. That's usually me. This is the way it should be because they're your numbers. You know those numbers better than I do. I'm here to look at those numbers and independently make a decision, are those numbers materially accurate and they're presenting the right numbers in your audit report. I will also say that of all the districts that I work with, and I know from talking to some of my other partners, they feel the same way, that this is by far the best team to work with on an audit process. They take it seriously. They're very responsive to whatever we ask for, and they do a fantastic job. I never walk into here and I say, oh, we're going to have problems. I also know that this is Bernie's last meeting, and you're going to be left in good hands. I can promise you that. I've worked with Joe for many, many years. I know his capabilities, and he'll be very, very good in that position. I work with, again, I mentioned I worked in quite a few districts, and there's been a tremendous amount of BA retirements or departures. And probably 50% of the ones that I've been involved with this year, I cringed when I heard who was coming in to take that position over, because the group of BAs that's out there right now have diminished quite a bit. They're not as technically expertise and have the experience. They're coming out of business, starting a career over again. So the good news here is you're not going to have that. You're not going to miss a beat. I also know that there's a lot of information out there regarding districts that are not doing well at all. And I can also be comfortable saying that you will not be in that position because your controls are in place to prevent that from happening. We just picked up one of those districts. This is the first year we're doing one of those districts as an audit. Some of the stuff that I know went on there is so far outside the statutory requirements, and some of the things that was done out there would never even be thought of being done here. And you don't have to worry about, and I've been asked 6 or 7 times at board meetings, are we going down the same path as Montclair? I'm sure you've all read about Montclair, right? You're talking about your fund balance being at 2%. They're at negative 15% because they've overspent their budget. And they've dipped into years' worth of cumulative fund balance. Again, I will assure you that with Joe and the team that he has here, that you've had established here, you will not go down that path because they won't let you. So when you ask the question about how are we going to deal with this going forward, you'll have a budget. You won't overexpend your budget. You'll abide by whatever your budget has. But from talking to, this is the first year probably in 20 years where every single audit, I've had to sit down with the BA and the superintendent saying, I'm scared. I'm nervous about where we're going. And why is that? State aid is not nearly kept up with the increases in salaries, the increases in health benefits, 30-something% for state health benefits. Others I've heard 29. Transportation was out of control during COVID. So the COVID days of having the money here is gone. And the state is not coming up with what they should be, and they're keeping caps at 2% on your taxes. So it's making it very, very tough. And there are quite a few districts that I audit that are below 2%. They don't even have the 2% because they had to dip into that. So you asked about your financial position. You're in better than most, but we hope things from the state perspective get better so that we get more money to provide to the students that you so care about here. Your bond rating is because of not only your financial, but the reputation of your school district, for sure. So you have a lot going here. Things have gotten tough financially across the state. There was a report put out probably a month or two ago where a bunch of BAs and others throughout the state, constituents and so on, got together and they summarized what's happening. There's a cliff coming. And how are we going to address that cliff? And it was all the things that Joe mentioned: transportation costs, health benefit costs, taxes still stuck at 2%, et cetera. So you're not alone with what you're feeling, but you're better than most that are out there. And again, the key thing for me is you can rely on the people running the show every day and managing your funds. And you will not be in a situation that some districts are in right now, which is not good at all. Anyway, I did put a presentation together, but Joe did most of what I would do during a presentation. So mine is going to be focused on what we do as an audit. So your audit reports that you have hard copy of, and I believe you received copies weeks ago regarding paper format, or I'm sorry, online format. It was filed on time. The deadline was January 15th, and you were filed on time again. I also do want to recognize Tara. You know, Joe gets up here and you know, gives a great speech and talks about the numbers, but the person we really deal with most of the time is Tara. Tara is always with us. She's always answering questions. She's always providing information to us. And she probably says sometimes, when are these guys getting out of here? So it's a lot of hours we're here. We do ask for a lot of purchasing and so forth, and they do a very, very, very good job. Never have to worry about getting an answer to a tough situation or a tough question. We always get those answers. Next slide, please. So it's a government-wide audit. We look at expenses that involve your general and school administration, your instruction, student services, transportation costs, as well as your DRTRS, or your district report of transported students. We look at how many students you reported to the state versus what you really serve. Enterprise operations, capital improvements, debt service. Next page, please. So what's our objective? You give us the numbers, we take a look at it, and we have to put an opinion on that. And the opinion is on a modified opinion, which is a clean opinion. Highest level it can be placed on your financial statements, and I wouldn't expect anything else in the East Brunswick Board of Education. We also, as part of our procedures, in accordance with state of New Jersey requirements as well as government auditing standards, we have to take a look at your internal controls and your compliance. So what do? We look at transactions revolving around your revenues and receipts, your purchasing, accounts payable, and expenditures, your payroll, your how you spend your money for computers and so forth. We do some IT work to make sure that you have general controls in place. All requirements, and that's where we've identified whether we have any findings or not. And as Joe mentioned earlier, there are no findings this year in terms of a corrective action requirement. A third level to our audit is the federal and state grants that Joe talked about that are housed in the Special Revenue Fund. So on an annual basis, we have to take a look at any program that's greater than $750,000 of expenditures, and we have to test them on a once every 3-year basis. Happy to report that after looking at the federal and state programs that we looked at this year, there were no items that we found to be not in compliance with the federal or state guidelines. The next 4 bullets are what some of the standards we have to follow. I'm not going to read them off the board. They're what we have to do every year. Next slide, please. As you know, your ACFR, formerly known as the CAFR, has 4 sections. The introductory section is a 12 or 13-page transmittal letter that talks about some of the accomplishments of the district from a educational perspective. The financial section includes the financial numbers, and it also includes an MD&A, which is a management discussion and analysis, which is about 10 pages long, which gives a nice overview of financial position at the end of the year compared to the prior year, and then takes a look back 2 years from 2 years ago. Statistical section, which was brought up earlier, is an unaudited section, but includes 20 different schedules on 10 years of history in different categories, whether it be businesses in town, enrollment, cost per pupil, expenditures, balance sheet, etc. So it's a good section to look at as well. And then the single audit section would be where the testing and all your grants are housed in terms of federal and state grants. Next slide. So in summary, the audit result is the independent audit report. Most important part is the opinion. It's unmodified, clean opinion. We are no material weaknesses or significant deficiencies in internal controls. And there were no findings related to federal and state grants that we looked at, which also has an unmodified opinion on the compliance, verifying that everything was done in accordance with the terms of the grant agreements. With that, that's a little overview of what we do from an audit perspective and findings and opinion and so forth. Again, Joe did most of what the heavy work and heavy lift, but I'd be more than happy to answer any questions you may have from our presentations tonight and anything that may be in the report that you received. That's all free game. Sure.
So I know that you said there's no exceptions, which is really remarkable, but any informal recommendations that you might suggest or any practices that you think we could strengthen or work on, especially with some of the, I know that Joe touched on it, but some of this stuff that we're seeing with townships, our neighboring township where they had a transaction between the board or the school district and the town, and obviously their controls that they believed they had in place fell through, and now they're not able to recover all of their money. So anything else that you can suggest or anything that you guys as an audit firm are kind of suggesting that boards do to protect themselves or strengthen?
Usually I would say yes. The one area that we spend a lot of time on is looking at quotes, because that's where some things where you can ask for quotes and they're not legitimate and so forth. So we spend a lot of time looking at quotes here, and we're very pleased. Your controls are probably stronger than I see in most. Okay. And what we will do is sometimes we will have a conversation regarding, here's some potential findings, let's talk about them, and they never make it into the final report. I didn't have any of those conversations here.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you for your report. Really appreciate you being here and being patient tonight.
No problem.
Do we have any venue that audits change orders throughout the year? Is that something that in your looking and your auditing of what we do?
We do stuff on a test basis, yes. We would look at some things like that if they were to come up in our sampling testing, yes.
But it's not a regular
It's not
part of
something
what
like we
you do?
just focus on change orders. We focus on disbursements, transfers, and stuff like that. But that's not something we say, oh, let's look at all the change orders that were done during the year. So we'll look at them, and if they come up, we'll look and see if they were done appropriately.
Thank you very much.
So this question is just mainly to clarify those of us who don't look at audit language a whole lot, because I mean everything sounds good until you actually look at the words on the slide, because this phrase unmodified opinion or no material weaknesses or significant deficiencies. This one, I kind of feel this is something my dad would have said to me. How am I doing, Dad? Well, you have no material weaknesses or significant deficiencies. So my question is, the opinions that you have, is this like the best that we could have done?
The opinion is based upon the financial numbers,
Right.
and there are basically four layers.
Mhm.
There's unmodified, which is clean. There's qualified, which means there's something wrong, but it's not too bad. Then there's adverse or disclaimers where the records are so bad we can't even put any opinion on there, which I've done before. So yes, it's the highest opinion that can be placed on financial statements by a firm.
Perfect, great.
Significant deficiency, material weaknesses, there's three layers of findings. There's other matters, which are little things that pop up here and there. Significant deficiencies are, they're not driving a material weakness in the numbers being presented, but they're getting there. Material weaknesses, things are so bad that we're not even sure the numbers are right.
Okay, great, thanks so much.
I just want to, I want to jump on that for a moment because, you're absolutely right. You look at those words and is this the best? But I think the thing that's important to keep in perspective or to learn about in terms of perspective is that the standards in accounting and auditing, one of the main standards is conservatism. And that conservatism translates also in terms of how that information is put out. So it's the least flowery wording for the best outcomes.
It's what you would expect from an accountant. No offense.
Well, until about 4 years ago, the opinion was buried in the back of the report. Now at least they were smart enough to put it in the first two paragraphs because then the first thing, where's the opinion? So the opinion's the first and second paragraph now, so it makes it a little bit easier. Like, that's all people really need to read. That and are there any material weaknesses, so.
I'm gonna write that on your next birthday card, Wilbur. No material weaknesses.
I'm used to it.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Just a quick
Anybody
question,
else?
if that's okay.
Yeah.
And just real quickly, we've been working with your company for quite a few years, correct? And do we have anything internally, and this is not a personal slam in any way whatsoever, but just for the public's awareness and, the legitimacy of your organization. You spoke earlier about all the districts that you guys work with. So it may be helpful just to hear that one more time.
Okay.
And then also, do we shop around every year, right? Do we explore other auditors and ensure that, I trust this information, but I do think it's important that we do explore bids, with different providers, especially if we've had a long-term relationship with someone. I see both sides, so I'd be curious for the opinion on that.
So before Joe talks, because Joe will talk about what our process is annually, but Scott, why don't you talk about peer review a little bit? Because I think that's important, because they also are scrutinized by independent review.
A couple things. So one, in terms of Bernie's question regarding peer review is, we stress over peer review like you would probably stress over CUSAC. It's our CUSAC basically where they come in and they pick basically hundreds of jobs to look at from an outside firm that's independent from our firm, and they not only look at the numbers and the reports that we issue, they look at the work papers that we provide as well to make sure we have the proper documentation. The firm as a whole has had clean opinions for the last, as far as I can go back, from the firm that basically grades us. To go through, our firm does about 50 school districts currently. We also do a lot of municipalities, authorities, and so forth. Personally, I'm the auditor in charge of West Windsor, Plainsboro, Newark Board of Education. I can think of top of East Brunswick. Oh God, I can't even think of them now. You took too much time. I'm so tired. Hopewell Valley, we do. We do a lot of them in this county. Mercer Votech, we do. Mercer Special Services, Orange Board of Education, Plainfield Board of Education. So we have some toughies in there, and recently appointed to help bail Montclair out of their current situation. So what I will say also is that even though I've been on the job for a number of years, we rotate the senior and the supervisor out, so there's a different perspective. I'm not here every day, so I'm not looking at the everyday information. So we think it's important that every 2 or 3 years we rotate a new senior or supervisor on the job so they have a different perspective. So, I mean, and then besides me, I have an independent partner who is not involved in the engagement at all, who looks at the financial statements. I have to provide it to him, make sure I review and everything looks good. I give it to a separate person in a different office to independently go through to make sure a report is meeting the requirements and standards, and they also take a look at what work papers support that. Also, your Certificate of Excellence in Financial Reporting further exemplifies, you're only one of about 25 districts that actually even apply for it, because most districts feel that they probably wouldn't get the award. So that's a reflection again on knowing what goes into put a good financial statement together and so forth. So it comes up a lot, and at times to accommodate districts, we've rotated partners off if that's something that, you know, we've done it as well, where someone comes up and says, you know, you've been on here 5 years, maybe it's a good time to switch the partner off.
So every year, all of our professionals, we go out for formal quotes. We don't always do an RFP, which is a more stringent process, time-consuming. Along with that, we get those quotes back from various firms. We compare. And then at the county level, we do a survey of all of our, districts in the county and say, how much do you pay for this? How much do you pay for it? And then we look and say, okay, we're in there, we're reasonable. So it's always that cost balance. We are never the high, I can tell you that. I would say it's been a long time. I was an auditor, and I worked for a firm in South Jersey. Tara was an auditor for Ernst & Young, right? So the number of companies that actually do this and do it well has greatly reduced recently. The big companies are no longer doing it really. Whatever our audit fee is to a big four, they're not doing it, right? So, and there are other companies out there that could do the audit, but honestly, they're tax accountants that are supplementing their summer in September work with this. You do not want that. Maybe from an operational standpoint we do, because maybe the audit would be a little bit easier. But I would prefer to go through 6 weeks of
Rigor.
torture.
Rigor.
Rigor. You'll learn that the vocabulary is not sophisticated like Bernie's, okay? So, but this is our report card. This result justifies what we do, and sometimes it is about the kids, as we talked about, but I'm not a teacher, right? I'm not an educator. You don't want the only focus to be on that in this position. The role needs to be the compliance, because it's not just about the numbers either. Like everything we do is based off of statute, board policy. It's real easy to say, okay, yeah, we'll just let that slide. You need the purchases. It's the last minute. It's really hard to say no, and be the no people, because not everybody understands. But this kind of justifies it. And, you need somebody who is well respected in the industry. And Scott is very well respected. When firms have questions, his firm is leaned on. They have connections there, or they are connected to the state level. They're not afraid to go back to the Department of Ed and say, like, why are we doing this? Not that they always listen, but you need, regardless of if it's Scott, another partner in the firm, whoever, you need that level of expertise, that this is what their profession is. I'm a CPA. You don't want me doing a complicated tax return, right? I'll do it. I don't know if it'll be right. You might end up in, some trouble. But, my focus is governmental accounting. That's what you need from the auditor as well. All right. So.
Just another question if I may. I just want to go back to kind of what Lori and Tim said briefly. And I do think, looking at it from an educational point of view, you have a student that gets an A+, that doesn't mean that they were perfect all the time with everything. There's still some things to help their growth that I think they could use. So to Lori's question, I think it would be beneficial to have some things that we should look at, maybe whether it's forward-looking or things we could, possibly do better. Because I think it's, looking at, changes that could be made, none. It starts to make me think, again, maybe we do need a new set of eyes on it. And it's nothing, personal, obviously, but I do think that it's healthy to have, a varied set of eyes sometimes on what we're doing, because, we can all improve in some area. And so even though I do understand there may not be a lot of people out there doing this type of work or doing it as well as this company, I do think it's something that, the board should look at, as we move forward. Thank you.
Yes, of course. Sorry, Lou. Is it that we got an A+? That's not good enough? Just checking. There's nothing other than A+, and I think with my experience with auditors is either you did it right or you didn't. Like it's not qualitative the way we do as teachers and like, oh, you can make your words more flowery or something. It's 1 + 1, 2. There's no gray area. I don't know, just from my understanding, what it is that we are. It just doesn't seem to fit. I'm not sure what it is we're looking for, other than a clean.
I think the issue might be there are process improvement audits that are done, which they dig deep into the processes that are being done.
Mhm.
We're looking at things from a financial perspective.
Yeah.
We're looking at the numbers, and we're going to look at the controls that drive those numbers. But are we looking at the processes with everything? We're looking at the controls in those processes, but are we looking at, getting into detail on how to really improve those processes or change them?
That's not your.
Not really in the
your
scope of the
work.
audit. If we see something as a result of a control not working effectively, we're gonna bring it to your attention.
Yeah.
But we've done those too. We go in to do a process. It's far more expansive than you would do it during an audit scope. They're a couple $100,000 to do them right.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to understand, because to your point, it's like the scope of what you are supposed to do, you've done, and we came out with flying colors.
Mhm.
Okay.
And if you look at some of our other audits, there are other audits where the opinion is not clean and there are findings specifically identified.
And just if I may add in finality, I think to Joe's point, you made an excellent point that what you do here is just numbers, and you understand that there's an instructional need, and the balance is meeting both of those, and like your scope ends at the numbers, and then, we need to take it from there. That's where the board takes it from, of this is what we have to work with, this is what our classroom needs are. It doesn't mean that the numbers are going to drive that, but we have to figure it out. Yeah.
It's a dance.
Yeah,
Right? It's
yeah.
a balance.
Yeah.
It's a difficult process.
Yeah. Complex, not difficult. Complex. See, I'm learning.
At 9:40, it's complex.
Yeah.
So, Lou, I understand what you're saying, and, it's, sometimes it's like, oh, it's just, yes, everything's good. But to Dr. Mammon's point, it's fail, pass instead of A+, like in the process. I think the one thing that I hope the community and the board understands, yes, Scott's firm's been doing this. In my tenure here, I believe you're the 4th firm, probably the 5th or 6th partner over those 23 years. Off the top of my head, 8 to 10 different managers. And the manager is the one who's here every day and having the interaction. And I don't know how many staff accountants that we've been through. So that's where I would hope that some of the and the results have been consistent. We haven't been no findings through those 23 audits under my tenure. Nothing crazy. We've had some student activity stuff, some an ASSA item, a DTRS, but nothing financial to the point of like, oh, we awarded a bid inappropriately. We didn't go out the bid. We didn't do our due diligence. So that's where I get it. Like, we don't want to assume everything's great. We want to make sure it's great. And that history, I would hope, helps, right? So, and I do think it's important. And I think it's also important that when we do have findings, I think there was only 1 year that we had a repeat finding on a student activity fund. And the only reason, because the first year it was school A, the second year it was school B. It wasn't even the same school. So that, I think, says, like, if the auditor got up here and had the finding every single year of the same thing, that would be really concerning.
Sure.
And we haven't had that.
And again, just to use your words before, because it is taxpayer money, and we're we are responsible for every penny, as we talked about. I just want to make sure that, and maybe it's the processes we need to make sure, double check all, and they could be A+ as well. But I just think it's important that, when we have findings, that we continue to learn and to grow in those areas to make sure that we are doing everything we can. And so that when we report to the public why we can't spend money on something, they know that all the dollars, all the cents are put in the right place for the right reasons. So, thank you. And thanks again, not a slight to anyone at all, believe me. I support it and thank you for your presentation.
One thing I just wanted to let the board know is that the board hires the auditor. And so the auditor has a fiduciary duty to the board. He basically, the auditor is your eyes and ears looking and making sure that Joe and Bernie and their team are doing it right. And so the auditor can't fudge their report because it's a fiduciary duty. They have a license. And that license could be in jeopardy if they are fudging reports. So I think that gives, just like lawyers have licenses, you have a duty to represent your client. And their client is not Joe Crotchfield or Bernie Giuliano or Tara and the team, it's the board. And the board represents the taxpayers. So that's the one thing people should understand, that when you get a clean audit like this, and I agree with you, Wilbur's father sounds very similar to my father. I wanted the A+, I didn't get that growing up. But, when you get these types of things, and I've been at different boards where they don't get that, or they don't have controls, or the auditor comes in and they have lists of findings, and it's daunting to say, oh my goodness, this is what's going on. So, I just want everyone to know that they are your eyes and ears. That's why we asked the question.
Anybody else? Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Scott.
Have a good night, everybody.
Thank you, you too.
Bernie, good luck to you wherever you end up.
All right, so we are moving on to our final presentation of the night, our superintendent's goals for the 25-26 school year.
I apologize for what's about to be a boring presentation, given Joe's excited. I'm sorry. All right. Thank you for still being here. I have an audience. It is my pleasure today to present to the community our Charting Our Path Forward presentation. This is a unified plan for our schools. I am proud to say that the board and I worked on this and came to an agreement and cannot wait to share it with you so we can get going. So this is our shared purpose. We want to establish trust, deepen understanding of our strengths and challenges and what we face, and together build a foundation for fiscal recovery, instructional excellence, and community unity. Essentially, this came out of a survey that was sent out to the public when you all were looking for me. You found me. I'm sorry, it's almost 10 o'clock. I don't know what I'm doing. I've been off for 12 hours. More than 12 hours, what am I talking about? Whew. Anyway, so because it was a high engagement by the community, stating the things that are strong about East Brunswick, what we love about East Brunswick, what we'd like to see East Brunswick Public Schools does next, and the kind of leader they need in order to, do the work and lead this community. So based on those, based on the responses to that survey, we like AI, what's the trend? What's going on? What are people looking for? What does this mean? And out of it came a few key areas. And in working with the board, we're like, okay, this must be what it is we need to look at, right? And then, as you know, I'm out there talking to people, and people are sharing, and I've been here since October, even though technically whatever. But putting it all together has become what is going to be our shared purpose. Just wanted to give you context. So what I'm going to share has to do with my 100-day plan, which typically every incoming superintendent has a 100-day plan. Mine is a 100 business day plan. I just want to be clear. So as we came together, we had a retreat, and we talked about what our guiding principles were going to be as we embark in this partnership. And again, have had a great working relationship with the board. This has been first and foremost, really exciting for me to do. You've heard me. I sound like a broken record. Student first, right? It's just, for me, that's the North Star. It's numbers for Joe, make it work, students first. And then just working together, making sure that whatever action we're taking is a unified action that everybody can get behind. We want transparency, and I said radical transparency because, we throw transparency around all the time, but we wanted radical transparency. And already I know you're hearing a lot from us. I mean, who knew Joe could talk this much? We're building that trust. We want you to trust us, right? And then we're looking for just equity, belonging, and opportunity for every learner. So those are our guiding principles as we put these together. So my first 100 days has been very strategic. I want to just stop and thank Karen Mandler, who handles all my calendar. Even I cannot get on my calendar this time around. I can't. It's just, there's no room anymore. But we've been very strategic in terms of what the board, who has a pulse on the community, wants me to do, because they've heard from the people that they represent. In addition to the survey responses, in addition to what I know that I want to do in terms of the kind of leader I want to be, and hopefully the kind of leader that, you deserve. So it's been very strategic so that I am being thoughtful and making sure that my transition is effective. And then we're really focusing on fiscal stability, because a lot of what we want to do, we need money for, you've heard today. And I really wanted to make sure that there is communication. That was one of the things that people talked about a lot. Communication, boosting morale, making sure that there's strategic direction, and we're just not, not just making decisions, that we have a plan, right? When you're going on vacation, you have a plan, right? You know what you want to do, right? When you go on vacation. I love that you're paying attention to me. She's the only one nutting here. And so the first phase was to listen and learn. I'm still doing that, honestly. I'm still listening and learning and building trust and aligning. So I'm sort of like in the second phase, but also going gung-ho on the first phase. And then phase 3 will be leading and launching, which we hope to get going in the next couple weeks. And I'll talk a little bit about what that might look like for us. So I put those days at the bottom so that and you can hold me accountable. You can hold me accountable. You can hold the board accountable for not holding me accountable. We're just going to hold each other accountable. So we wanted to be open about my work so that you know what I'm doing and that there's no question about what I'm doing. So these are some of the key actions that we've done. My goal is to, it's important for me to understand the people that I serve, understand the programs, our systems, our culture. And so that's been consuming in a beautiful way, getting to know the East Brunswick way. Some things, some key actions. So for everyone, it's going to talk about what those key actions are that I'm doing and what the final piece would be to that. So of course I'm having a lot of dialogue sessions, right? I'm just talking to people randomly. Today I was wandering the halls of one store. I'm like, I think I'm lost. And they're like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm here for a meeting. But then I'm talking to people just randomly that way. I'm talking to kids, I'm talking to staff, of course my meet and greet, community partners, core teams, everybody. I'm working my way to the high school. Jane is coming. I actually have, yes, that's coming. It's coming early February. I'll start to talk to kids. I'm having lunches, random lunches with teachers in the faculty room, going to a lot of community events. So it's been great. All the school visits. We've started the review budget. You saw Bernie and Joe. This is all what we do all day. It is riveting.
Another mic drop.
I'm sorry.
Groundbreaking. That's why I'm still bubbly at almost 10 o'clock at night. So we've been doing a lot of, the cabinets meeting, meeting all our union leaders. Dana's here. Thank you for being here, Dana. I've met with Dana multiple times as I shoot. And, I've had one-on-one meetings with the board. We've met together. It's been, at least getting the work done, right? Really doing a lot of work in making sure that our communication is clear. That for me, it's been, as I go through systems, I'm like, are we clear? Are we communicating well? What does that look like when we communicate well? From top to bottom, not just even our internal memos, what goes out to the public. We're being very strategic. Not social media. I'm staying off social media. It's none of my business what happens in social media. But for the real conversations, for the people coming to meet with me, parents, students that have questions, all of it, teachers, I want to be accessible. I believe that communication is good when it's clear and when it's kind. And so that's what we've been practicing a whole lot of. And so at the end, I will have a dialogue session summary of all my stuff and all the going around and what I'm hearing, and kind of have like a summary of I want to have my state of the district too, not, kind of the state of the union, but, with some baseline highlights. So when we get to the end of what I'm supposed to achieve in the next, I think that might be like the March board meeting, I would have something to share. And it's been fun. It's been fun. So that's phase one. Phase two, this takes time, right? Building trust and being able to align. The goal is to strengthen relationships that we have, establish clarity so that we know where we're going, and just build coherence so that we're rowing in the same direction. So we have some plans already in place. Like we will have a district-wide theme next year, so we're all rolling in the same direction, right? We're going to do a lot of incentives type stuff, right? Even just, saying to the teachers, we see you. We have just awesome staff. The administrators are wonderful. Staff is wonderful. I meet with the administrators often. We have meetings together. I'm in schools for one-on-one, small groups, all of it. We're doing, and this is all so that we can strengthen relationships that we have with each other, and that's really important to me, to the board. A lot of that came out in the survey and the responses. More, if we had 10 responses, 6 out of 10 had to do with relationships and building morale and where are we going. So really important, and you can see that when I talk about lunch and staff morale is there twice, because that came out and because there were different stakeholders, and within the different stakeholder responses, it was about staff morale. It was about staff morale over and over again. So that's really important. So the board, we had a really successful retreat, and this was the, we really talked about where our aspirations, where we want to see us go, and just resetting some governance norms for ourselves and what the communication expectations are. So even with the board, they get a Friday memo from me every Friday, and my whole core team is a part of that Friday memo, like what's going on, right? If there's anything, just to make sure that they're informed, and that way, if there are any questions, they are able to answer as well, right? And even in between the Friday memos, if there's, I meet weekly. We have a set time that I meet with the board president as standard, right? And then questions that come through, people have access, the board has access to me, and it's been great. Part of that is just what are our expectations for a good, strong working relationship. If we don't talk, how are we supposed to work together? So that's really important, not just for me and the board, but from the board to the community, me to you, and so on and so forth. And we're working on our leadership cabinet structure. Not sure, it's not going to be a sharp turn. It's going to be like a little curve. So we're working on that, and why? So that our decision making is like clear. We know who to go to for what, right? We don't want people going, everybody coming to me for stuff. That's not how this works. I want to empower my people to be able to speak on my behalf. I have ultimate faith in the people that you heard about Joe's team. I can attest, I don't worry at all. They're really nice. They always have treats in their offices. This morning, a lot of it. No, but seriously, just to make sure that there's a chain of command. We cannot have a system this big and everybody just comes to one person who's the holder of all of it. We're all here for a reason, and my goal is to empower my people to work and speak on my behalf. And I would implore the community. If you have an issue, talk to the teacher. Talk to the teacher. Everybody is willing to solve the problem. Our teachers are amazing, And if you're not getting what you need from the teacher or you're not agreeing, there are administrators. Our administrators are equipped to do the work. These are certified people who have gone to school for years, have practice, have expertise. Give them a chance. Don't come to me. Because it's like, don't come. Just like, don't go to the board. If you need something from me, you go to the board, it looks like I did something wrong. I don't want you going to my boss. Give me a chance to fix it, right? And so it's all that way up. And that boosts morale. And that's why I'm actually saying this part particularly. When you don't give people the chance to fix something or to even have a conversation, it's like, what am I here for? It is not good for morale. So if you forget everything I say because it's 10 o'clock, just remember that. Talk to people, I don't know what's going on. My child said this, or this happened with my talk to the teacher. Then talk to the principal. Talk to the department chairs, the directors. All of this people are here to help you. That's our job. Because when you come to me, I'm assuming that you've been through the whole process and all my people have failed you. And that's usually not true. So that would help boost morale for us. So I will continue to visit staff, make sure I'm visible. We're working very hard to convene some equity and access advisory groups. We do know, I have heard, as I continue to hear, that there are areas in our system that we need to pay attention to. And so we want to pay attention to those areas and bring in stakeholder groups together to look at special education, student support, like ESL, all those special groups that people have questions about, just to make sure that the way we have an auditor looking at our stuff, that we too can say, you know what, we got an A+. And if we didn't get an A+, to lose point, where can we do better, right? So really looking forward to that. I've been doing some facilities walkthrough. We have one on Monday.
With boots on.
That's right. Because we will be open on Monday, snow or no snow. No, I don't know. I don't know that. But we've been doing a lot of facilities. We're doing some walkthroughs. We know we have an aging secondary campus. We have enrollment shifts. These are big ticket items that we're taking a look at. So we can't just, I can't just do that from wherever we are. We actually have to go visit and take a look and see what, so some of that is ongoing. I'm sure the high school students that we just saw, Bernie, me, and Joe just hanging out in the hallway, coming out, and they were going, what are they doing here? And it was so cold, so we had our jackets on. I'm sure they weren't sure what to do with us, but, and then we were at Churchill. So we're gonna continue to do that as part of this planning. And we want a new high school. Right, Jane? Do we not need a new high school? Good. So at the end of this, hopefully, we'll be able to present, the board and I present a forward framework for 3 strategic priorities. I'm going to talk about that later. Some community-facing budget and facilities narrative so that you know what the state of our union is, right? And then we're forming advisory groups because we understand that at the heart of this is school funding. So we are launching an advocacy group. We will be inviting people to join us who know how to do this advocacy work. And we have a single purpose and focus. It is to change school funding so that we can't keep doing this. This is not sustainable. I mean, it's just not sustainable. So really excited about the advocacy group. That will go out next week as well. This is part of our making sure that we're not just sitting down and taking it, and we're not just gonna call it in either. We're gonna do one better. We're going to Trenton. And some of us are already part of the legislative committees. I'm working with my fellow superintendents across the state. We're just waiting for Governor Sherrill, and then we're going, because it's not adding up. It's just not adding up. So you'll hear more about that. Those are days 31, 70, and probably beyond going on there. And then the third phase is just leading and launching. All this talk, all this fact gathering, we're going to start working on it. In fact, you start to see some low-hanging fruit. And you were like, oh, that's what she meant when she said. We don't have to wait till September to enact certain things. We don't have to, like the things that we can do now, we will do. Don't ask me what that is. You'll find out. But our goal, the most important part, is launching our 3-year strategic plan. Really looking forward to that work. We want to make sure that we're having consistent updates. We started an Instagram account because we weren't on Instagram, and we didn't want to do a Finster, whatever that is. But the goal is to just reboot communication and updates, and we're hitting our website next, right? We're going to do some more stuff with the website, so you start to see some of these good things happening and really showcasing our staff and sharing all the good stuff that's happening, so that it can give people a sense of, it's not all doom and gloom. That even in spite of some of the challenges that we face, you saw the kids. I mean, that's what matters. So we want to really showcase that. And then I will have a 100-day reflection plan that I will submit to the board, and after that will be published on our website so people can have access to it. So that's it's going to be just a transition from assessment to action with leadership and some early wins. So really looking forward to that piece. I talked about the 100-day plan, what the plan is and what we're doing. But this is just, it just provides the foundation to the work that we're now going to have to do. And so it is our commitment that the board, with me, we will lead together. We're going to translate our shared values into strategic action and collective accountability. We're really excited for this roadmap. And so for the next, my goals, I have 3 goals coming up for technically till the end of June, but we'll probably extend, we'll see where we are and kind of tweak. But number 1 is to have to develop a strategic plan. It is the strategic plan will be ready for us to launch come 26, 27 school year, right? So the process is going to be really looking at a process that is clear with a timeline. And our first priority is let's have a plan so that we can use the plan to move ahead. And you will know that we're doing well when we share this roadmap publicly, so that it's not something that people are, we don't know where the plan is, where is the plan? It will be shared publicly. There will be a unified messaging from the board and I around student-centered goals, because when you develop a strategic plan, it covers everything. It covers academics, it covers facilities, it covers everything that makes up our system, with goals that we will measure and see how we're doing and monitor the progress. So really looking forward to doing that. And then we're hoping that when we put the call out, that we'll have a high number of stakeholders from East Brunswick participating, because they want their voices heard in this way. So those will be the early success indicators as we develop our strategic plan. Number 2, I spoke to that earlier, was about trust, right? That a lot of responses in the survey really talked about we don't trust and people don't trust us. And when the staff wants to help but is not given the opportunity to help, it just seems like you don't trust me that I'm doing what's right for the kid. And that's, that just cuts to the heart, because we're here because of the kids. So some of the things we want to do, the board and I working together, we know we can restore trust. We know we can strengthen our credibility and a commitment to stability and transparency in ongoing conversations around budget and operations. You can already see that. Can you tell that we all work well together, right? Can you tell? And doesn't that have an effect on those of you watching us? It just really matters that we're here working together, laughing together, disagreeing with love, all of that it matters. We choose love. Okay. That was bound. I'm not randomly saying that. But some of the things we want to do is co-host small community forums. And I think that based on the work we've done so far with meets and greets, we've had some really good conversations there. And we really believe that's the way to go. And that way we'll develop our shared talking points as we go through this. And some of the success indicators you see will be the stakeholder feedback that we're going to get that reflects a greater confidence in leadership, that the community will have seen us with this kind of increased focus on student learning rather than the division, because there's a lot that brings us together, and that's what we need to focus on. And the road ahead is going to be tough, but we're tougher than it, and when we come together, we can get some things done. So we're really excited about that consistency and that transparency that we want to do in this way for the community of East Brunswick. And our third priority is about the collaborative budget development. And we've started it already, whether you know it or not. There's conversations here and there, You can already see kind of like the nuance and this is the general fund. Well, some of the things Joe was doing was giving us like accounting 101. Every month we're going to have little nuggets of, did you know this about the budget, right? I bet some of you learned a little bit more about the budget than you did before, right? We knew, and that's the point, that when we know, we do better, right? And because we're educators, so we should always start with that. We're really looking forward to a budget that it has a statement of values, that when we show you our budget, you will know what it is that we value. And when we talk about what the process is, again, you will know what our value is. And we know that that things are difficult, but with thoughtfulness and a lot of communication and transparency, we can get somewhere. We're not all going to be happy, but it's just, we'll figure it out together. So we'll be doing some of these budget orientation sessions. We're going to establish a framework for financial decision making with our priorities of student achievement, and then have a budget at a glance for people to be able to kind of digest. Earlier, Tim was like, well, if I was in third grade, Joe, how would you explain what it is that you did to me? Something like that we call digestible. So we and connect those investments to instructional priorities, because that's why we're here. And you will see us deliver some cohesive, student-centered budget messages, and you'll see like a stronger board confidence in financial planning, because they very much will be a part of it, and we'll try not to bore them, but they do need to know some details, right? And hopefully our goal is that the greater community will have a stronger understanding of what we are doing and why. So this is our journey forward together. I'm really proud of the the work we're going to embark on together, unified. I hope to see you all out supporting us in this work. Thank you for staying this late. Really appreciate it. Questions?
No question. I just want to compliment you. I love your speaking style. I could listen to you all evening.
Thank you, Jamie.
I really think that your vision is incredible. And we're so proud to support you and support this district and our goal of helping all of our children. So thank you for this.
Thank you so much, Jamie. I'm touched. Appreciate it. Yes, Lori.
So the same, you bring excitement and optimism, and so we're here for it. So thank you for that, because I think it's, what we learned from the surveys is that it was needed.
Yes.
Wondering if you could just give us, I know that some of us have attended or been able to attend some of your meet and greets, but just I know you'll give a more formal, but maybe just a thought or two about is there a common theme you've heard so far, or a common concern, anything that kind of sticks out to you so far?
Yes, a few, and honestly, I have to commend the people who have been coming out to my meet and greet, and just even really embracing my style of let's just sit down and talk.
Yeah.
A lot of people are concerned, obviously, about the budget. They worry about the money and what will that mean for my child and their programming, especially with special ed. And even some of the programs we're able to offer or not offer. There's a lot of questions that people don't have answers to, and then when you don't have answers, you just make stuff up. So that tells me we have work to do, especially in that area of special education. And Louise and I talk almost every day now. Versus Louise still here, yay. Louise and I talk every day, and so we know that's an area we need to do better. But that has been consistent no matter the community. And then different communities have different things that they care about, Bound wanted to know what their, future is going to be, and I told them their future is bright, so that was good. Memorial was amazing. Irwin,
They showed up.
Irwin showed up.
Yeah.
The staff, there were 2 tables right there. You were, Lori, we had over 60 people.
Yeah.
And it was just a really cool night. And so everybody has their own little, every community has its own identity, and I love it. I love it. But mostly they've just been happy that I'm there and that they can interact with us. And I say us because the board members, I have almost 2 or 3 at every one so far. I haven't been to any meet and greet where our board members have not showed up to support and be a part of the conversation. And I draw them into the conversation too. So it's been good. It's been good.
Awesome.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Yes.
Anybody else? Antoinette, go ahead. No, I'll go last. I go last.
She goes last. She's Madam President.
I don't know the rules. Thank you. I have to just say thank you because you listened to the community. This entire list of goals here is exactly what everybody was looking for.
Yeah.
And I know that the board, when they chose you with that in mind, but the fact that you actually are doing it is incredible. And I've been one of the board members who've been able to join you on your tour of East Brunswick. And I have to tell you, it's been incredible watching the reactions of the audience. First of all, the little kids that are coming are so adorable.
Right, so cute.
It's so cute. But in the beginning, you'll see the parents sizing you up a little bit.
Yeah.
And then by the end, it's a completely different vibe. Everyone's very comfortable. At first, it's like, anybody have any questions? Nothing. And then one person asks a question, and then they bounce off that. And then it becomes like you're hanging out with your friends, and it's very comfortable. And people have been able to trust you with their worries,
Yes.
which I have not seen happen in this district in the 10 years I live here. So thank you for that. If you have not been able to get to one, definitely
Come
get.
to
You don't even have to
one.
go to your own school
It's
if
fun.
if you have a conflict. It's really important to get there and see, because she talks a lot more than she's doing right now. But it's important to see how everyone is reacting to her plans. So thank you for doing that. I think it was a really, really great idea.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you for the support. And I think I was supposed to be in the high school on Monday. Suppose. I'll see you in the high school on Monday evening. No, it's been great. It's been my honor. And yeah, I am your superintendent, so you should be able to just talk to me, right? So, but until they get to know me and know that I don't take myself seriously. That might be a problem later on, but we'll see.
Yeah, I just want to echo what Antoinette said. I was able to make a couple of your meet and greets, and the vibe was exactly what she described. However, I do want to say it's not a surprise to me that this is what's happening in terms of you listening to the community. And here I'm just going to give us a pat on the back because
chose
that
me.
actually was our
You did
superintendent. That was our superintendent search process. We asked the community what they wanted to see in a superintendent, and then we went out and found you.
Aw.
And that was the list that we used to track you down and steal you from South Brunswick.
You sure did.
So they're still mad, I hear.
They
So
are. There are people who are not talking to me.
yeah,
Still.
but
I'll break them down.
Yeah, they'll get over it. But yeah, it's been wonderful. And again, if you happen to miss the one that's at your home school, you
can go
don't
to
have to go
anyone.
to your home school and go to any of them.
Yes.
And it'll be great.
Thank you.
No material weaknesses or significant deficiencies.
No.
Is that an evaluative comment? Am I going to get in trouble, Matt?
I was totally a daddy's girl, and my father was like, A+, little girl.
No, really, I think Jamie hit the nail on the head with that one. Your authenticity is what makes us so comfortable. Like, we're sitting here and we're just having conversation. It's, yes, this is a boardroom, but it's not stiff. And,
Shouldn't
you know,
be.
like, everyone's just interjecting when they need to. And you guys know I'm a fan of that. So, no, but it's nice. You bring that energy and you've brought that into all of your meet and greets. And, you know, one of my favorite things of watching people's reaction when they are coming to you during these meet and greets with a problem and you're like, that's happening? That's pretty messed up. Come talk to me. And it's like there's just this air of validation as opposed to, oh, well, that's not really happening. That's not, you know, so it's nice to have that. And I agree with Antoinette. It's the first time in a very long time that we've experienced that as a district. So thank you. And, you know, I think Tim said it the day that you were voted in. This is not going to be without its challenges, and we recognize that, and we're here to support you. And I know, you know, we're here to represent our community, so it's going to be teamwork, but I'm optimistic.
Thank you. I am too. Okay. Thank you.
All right, with that said, you guys have heard us talk for so long. It's your turn if you so wish. The Board of Education recognizes the value of public comment on educational issues and the importance of allowing members of the public to express themselves on school matters of community interest. To protect the privacy of all students and staff, concerns regarding individual students and staff members should generally be addressed by first meeting with the appropriate administrative staff. If you so wish to make a public statement, please come to the podium, state your name and address. You have 3 minutes. If you are a student, just your name and your school.
Good evening. My name is Maddie Bishop, and I am a junior at East Brunswick High School. I am the co-president of the EBHS Video Newsmakers Club, a student-led group that makes the morning announcements every day. Because we film in the morning before school starts, it is difficult to gain members who are able to show up to school early enough to help us create the announcements, as most students take the bus, which arrives much later. Due to this, we were unable to gain the minimum of 15 members by mid-December to keep our club going. Although the club member minimum has always been 15 students, this year the club dues doubled from $15 to $30, which makes it even harder for students to join our club because it is very expensive to join as many clubs as we offer in our school. Video Newsmakers is an essential club to the integrity of EBHS. Other clubs rely on us to promote their upcoming events, we share important school updates, and we bring a sense of community to homeroom each day. Since the club is shut down back in December, we've been unable to share updates to our fellow students. We have raised this issue with Dr. Bouchard, and he is in full agreement that our club should continue running. However, he has said that the school district policy is that we must gain 15 members in order to be allowed to continue making announcements. This minimum does not make any sense for a club that only needs a minimum of 3 people to create the announcements, and our TV room cannot even fit 15 people to film anything. Currently, we are at 14 members, which we started this shutdown with 9 members. We have petitioned, promoted our club on Canvas, Instagram, and through interest meetings, and yet we are still unable to run over a month after our club has been shut down. As co-president, I implore you to reconsider this club policy. On a personal level, I've been doing morning announcements for my schools in East Brunswick since 4th grade, and through Newsmakers, I have found a love for broadcasting, and I plan to major in communications in college. I'm kindly asking that you waive the member minimum for this essential club and allow us to continue creating important announcements for our school. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Yes, please.
I'm just going to break protocol because we typically will not respond. We'll say thank you for your, but I am so impressed by you. I feel like whenever a student comes up here to advocate on behalf of herself, her fellow students, that we should at least acknowledge how proud we are of you. And you went from 9 to 14?
Yes.
You got to 14?
Yes.
I'm excited for you.
Thank you.
But thank you for staying, and I'm sure I might have something for you. I might.
Oh,
Just
okay.
hang in there. You went to 14?
Yes.
And you have names for 14?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
Is there anyone else wishing to address the board this evening? Okay. Yeah, going once, going twice, we get to use this.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so moving on to our actual agenda now. Before I do the Board of Education, is there anything that needs to be separated out for under Board of Education? Items 1 through 6. Anyone need anything? Okay, so I will motion for Board of Education items 1 through 6.
Move.
Second.
Wilbur and Jamie. Discussion? Okay, so this is a roll call vote?
Yep, so an item that's a roll call. Yeah.
Okay. So this is a roll
Ready?
call, yeah, roll
Okay.
call vote.
Roll call vote. Anna Braun?
Yes, except for number 6. I must recuse myself.
Noted. Timothy Cummings?
Yes.
Antoinette Avola?
Yes.
Jamie Falco?
Yes.
Louis Figueroa?
Yes.
Lori Herrick?
Yes.
Lee Woo Hong?
Yes, abstain from number 4.
Noted. Wilbur Pan,
Yes.
Mary Ann Tangos.
Yes.
Motion carries.
carries. Okay. All right. Moving on to business and support operations, items 1 through 9.
1 through a lot.
1 through a lot, yeah. 1 through, wow. 1 through 19.
19.
Motion?
Motion. Move.
Second.
Jamie Van Wilbur. Discussion? Okay.
Roll call.
Roll call vote also.
Anna Braun,
Yes.
Timothy Cummings,
Yes.
Antoinette Avola, Jamie Falco,
Yes.
Liz Figueroa,
Yes.
Lori Herrick,
Yes.
Li Wuhong,
Yes.
Wilbur Pan,
Yes.
Mary Ann Tangos.
Yes. Motion
Motion
carries. Okay. Moving on to curriculum and instruction. Items 1, just 1.
No, actually, it's
1.
2.
Curriculum and instruction?
There are 2 items.
1. Do you have 2? No, we don't have that.
We don't have P.
We don't have 2. Did you
Is
add
it
it as an addendum to
No.
us?
Is it the new agenda?
I'm on the new agenda.
There's a new one.
Page 21 is missing, I think.
Oh, page 21.
Oh,
did-
21's
I'm
missing.
sorry.
This one.
No, no,
Look at the
it's okay.
bottom.
It's
So who
Rogers.
doesn't have
For
it?
the new one that was on the dais, I think that one was missing.
It
Okay, does anyone
didn't
need
copy it, I guess.
Oh, no, I have plenty. I have
Not,
plenty.
not everyone does. The one from your house should be okay.
Yeah, the one from your house.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. But I reviewed the one at home, so I'm fine.
Okay.
Anna, are you good?
Yeah, let me just take a,
Yeah, the old one has. the
let me just get a quick look at it. Oh, yeah, that's fine, that's fine, thank you.
All right, so that's curriculum and instruction, items 1 and 2.
1 and 2. Yes.
Do we have a motion?
Move.
Second.
Wilbur and Jamie. Discussion?
Real quick, please, I just want to comment that one of the programs available is called Connections Matter. It has to do with neurological health for children. Brain health is critical throughout a lifetime, not just physically, but social emotional learning helps to create good stability later in life for understanding processes, social interactions, higher order critical thought. So I'm so pleased to see that we're offering a Parent University presentation at no cost on April 7th in the district so that we can learn how to build more resilient children and have compassion for their social emotional health. So thank you very much for bringing these programs to our district.
Thanks, Jamie. Okay. Any other discussion? So this is a voice vote? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Abstentions?
Oppositions?
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. All right, moving on to human resources, item 1.
Move.
Second.
Wilbur and Jamie. Discussion? Seeing roll call vote.
Yes. Anna Braun,
Yes.
Timothy Cummings.
Yes.
Antoinette Avola, Jamie Falco.
Yes.
Louis Figueroa,
Yes.
Lori Herrick,
Yes.
Li Wuhong,
Yes.
Wilbur Pan,
Yes.
Mary Ann Tangos.
Yes. Motion
Motion
carries. Okay. Moving on to special education and student services, items 1 and 2.
Move.
Second.
Jamie and then Wilbur. Discussion? This is a
Roll call.
roll call vote also.
Anna Braun,
Yes.
Timothy Cummings.
Yes.
Antoinette Avola,
Yes.
Jamie Falco,
Yes.
Louis Figueroa,
Yes.
Lori Herrick,
Yes.
Li Wuhong,
Yes.
Wilbur Pan.
Yes.
Mary Ann Tangos.
Yes. Motion carries. All right. That brings us to committee reports, information items, and for the good of the cause for the board.
I just want to start off by reminding our neighbors that on Saturday, January 24th, before the snow, at 11 a.m., the public library is presenting Muslim Heritage and Culture Day. I invite you all to attend and support our neighbors. It'll be a lovely event. Really appreciative of the Islamic Center of East Brunswick for hosting. And on a personal note, I just want to thank Mr. Juliana. I did not know you signed my diploma. That was something I learned. But I'm really grateful because the education I received that allowed me to be who I am and help the people I help is because of the work you've done. We have 11 blue ribbon schools because of the work you've done. And I think that that should be said and noted. Just a lot of appreciation because the work you do is not easy. And I don't think that everyone fully, even me, I don't fully grasp the time and the energy you've put into this position for all of this time. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention a couple things. I forgot to mention when we were talking about Dr. Mammon's tour of East Brunswick, that she's so dedicated to this that she did it on her husband's birthday. For one of them. Yeah. Hope the dinner was good.
It was good.
Okay, great, terrific. Let's see. I had the pleasure of going to the Winter Chorus concert at the high school last week. Oh my God, it was so good. Yeah. Yep. Yep. Yeah, they did their tradition of performing the Hallelujah Chorus, where they ask anybody in the audience who was a graduate of the program or who just wanted to come up there to get up there. So apparently the entirety of the town of East Brunswick was on that stage. Yeah, right, yep. And the other thing that I and some other of our board members attended was the open house that the Islamic Center of East Brunswick held as part of Muslim Heritage Month, which was a really great experience for me. Learned a lot, including like all the different parts of the prayer room in the mosque. It was good to know. Yeah, and that's it. Thanks.
Thanks, Wilbur. Anybody else? Tim? No? Good? Okay. I will just, again, thank you for the open houses that you've been doing. They've been wonderful. And thank you, Jamie, for reminding us about the Islamic Center. We did attend the open house as well, and I just echo what Wilbur said. Last but not least, this is Mr. Juliana's final meeting with us. It is a bittersweet moment. I'm just going to reiterate what I said when I was sworn in last time. You did sign my and Jamie's diplomas. And I found that like magically while putting out Christmas decorations, and my diploma happened to be in the back, and I'm like, Bernardo Juliana, he signed my diploma. No, but.
That just makes me feel old.
But, it is a full circle moment for me also that this is your final meeting and I'm sitting here as board president, and it still feels surreal. And I do echo what Jamie says. I believe that every person in this district brings value, and you've been here for 32 years, and that is time that is irreplaceable. I know it has not been without its challenges, but I thank you for doing what you have done for 32 years to the best of your ability, and I wish you all the best as you move forward. And it's been an honor. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I sent Bernie all the dates because he's going to be at the public podium. Coming for public comment.
Like hell I will.
Thanks. That was supposed to, appease him so he doesn't.
I know.
But,
I thought we were supposed to have love tonight.
Evelyn's having a belly laugh.
Yeah. Okay. Anyone else? Anything
I
else?
just, this is hard. It has been my honor, my privilege to serve this community and do the many good things that we've done for the students for 32 years. I've been through 32 boards of education, 9 board presidents, I think, over that time, 6 superintendents. I'm going to regret not working with Evelyn. But I am so confident that you're in good hands. Your new superintendent is wonderful. Your new business administrator is stellar. And the team to support is just phenomenal. And so I feel good leaving you in really good hands. So I thank you for the opportunity over these many years.
Thank you. Thank you. I hate goodbyes in general. All right. If there is nothing else, do we have a motion to adjourn?
Move.
Second.
Wilbur and Jamie. And that is a voice vote, right? Voice vote? All in
Yes, voice
favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. We are adjourned. Have a good evening, everyone.